Calling all Euphorians. You are cordially invited to East Highland High School's prom. When? Well, now. Where? In the comfort of your own quarantine. Attire? Formal, or just show up in your sweatpants. Strap on your corsage and pour yourself a nice bottle of Everclear and Gatorade. RSVP now by pushing play. It's going to be a euphoric night to remember. Hello, Euphorians!
Hello!
Wow, I am speechless. It feels like just yesterday New York announced quarantine, and yet here we are. What, 2 months now? 3 months?
Oh, who knows?
Who knows? I've lost count.
Time has no meaning.
It has no meaning. And yet here we are, and we are on episode 8 of this podcast. That is so crazy. One would say that's so euphoric, but it's also fucking crazy.
It is crazy. And what's really crazy is this just would not have happened without quarantine.
No.
We'd been playing with this idea for a long time, and we were already working on it, but it wouldn't have been off the ground for months still if it weren't for this.
I mean, as a local New Yorker, I mean, you have no time. You know, your day is just packed from your commute to your full-time job, hustle and bustle of the city. I mean, there is no way I could have done this.
The bustle.
There's truly no way. I mean, we've already talked about this, but like our lifestyle is so fun and spontaneous. So like anytime we did, because you're right, we had this idea so early on. I think it was like back in November. Mm-hmm. And it was such a good idea. And we were so passionate about it. We even bought the mics. We like got all the equipment, but then we were like every night we'd like decide to maybe record. We were like, or we could go to this new restaurant, or we could go party at a new club. Like in New York, there's no time to spare. Like you can't sit at home. Now we're forced to fucking sit at home. So, I mean,
and
I feel blessed in a way. Yeah, I'm
8 weeks later, and
here we are at episode 8.
Episode 8, baby.
The grand finale.
The big old finale. It's not the last episode for us ever, though. We're gonna keep them coming on a weekly basis, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that later.
And it is like,
but it is the last episode of Euphoria, so it's a little bittersweet.
It's a little bittersweet, and it's bittersweet also because we literally have no fucking clue when season 2 will pick up. So like,
yeah, it could be a long time.
It could be a long ass time.
I like to say that we'll keep the content coming until season 2, but like
that could be like 2 years.
We might run out of content.
We might run out of content.
Let's be honest.
But that's what our followers are for. They'll help us out. Well, you know, as usual, let's just dive into like, you know, euphoric quarantine life.
Yeah, give us the news.
Oh, I have the news. Hot news. The first item is just like too much. We have to start with Zendaya posting herself as Shrek on her Insta story.
Love this moment.
I love this for Zendaya, honestly. And is it a photo of her? Is it her as Rue? I think it's just
first her as Rue, I think. I'm pretty sure it's still from Euphoria.
It might be. Honestly, I'm embarrassed I don't know. It was just funny, though.
I'm pretty sure it is.
She looks kind of like, she almost looks like she's lying in bed and is like, oh.
I'm pretty sure it's from when she's in bed in Euphoria.
Or it might be in bed in quarantine. It could be either, honestly. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like.
I actually think it's the shot from when her mom busts in and catches her masturbating in the show, because she's giving that awkward, like, side-eye look.
Maybe. And it might be. I really don't know. I mean, I hope it's that. But honestly, overall, like, I just want to know what's going through Z's head. Like, what is she doing in this quarantine?
Oh,
like,
Z, huh?
Z,
we're on a nickname basis now?
All the fan pages call her Z, so I can't help it. Like, now it's just, I'm used to it. But, like, Zendaya. I just want to know what was running through her head. Like, she must be really fucking bored if she's clip arting and photoshopping Shrek over her face as she's lying in bed.
I love it.
I know, I'm really here for it. And honestly, to all you folks out there that were saying that she's fucking depressed and shit, like, clearly she is thriving and is not. I mean,
does that look like depression to you?
Posting a Shrek meme is never depression. If anything, it's like, wow, she must be doing better than she's ever been.
Yes.
But after that, I mean, I have a lot of news. Clementine, the movie came out that Sydney Sweeney stars in.
Yeah, let's talk about Clementine.
We watched it last night. We actually rented it.
It just came out, what, yesterday?
Yes,
yesterday. We watched the premiere.
And what's really great is they actually included us in their Insta story today, which was awesome, and followed us, and so did the director,
out.
Which is huge because we really did enjoy it. And honestly, I would recommend going to the website, and I'll be sure to I already put it in my Insta story today, but I'll repeat just so that you all have something to do during quarantine, because it really is like a good movie to watch. But you can rent it, and the money goes to different theaters like all over the U.S. And ours was our old hometown theater, which was kind of cute.
Yeah, Cinema 21 in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah,
a great little theater. They've been there forever. They show great movies. It used to be right around the corner from us.
So it felt good. It's only $12. I mean, go do it if you're a super fan. I mean, why not? Sydney Sweeney is excellent in it. She's always just such a great actress. Like, she really does a great job.
Yeah, so should we talk a little bit about Clementine?
Yeah, we'll give a little brief review, if you will. I mean, we were both just drinking wine, and we had a great night in watching it. It's very, like, lake house vibes.
Yeah, loosely, it's I described it in the Reddit post as a lesbian lake house drama.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about a
lot of tension.
A young woman from LA. She goes through a breakup with her older girlfriend and moves. She runs away up to the woods. Florence, Oregon, not too far from the old hometown.
Yeah.
To her ex's cabin in the woods, and then kind of posts up at the cabin where she comes across
nothing good ever happens in a cabin in the woods. I know you think opposite because you actually were like born and bred Northwesterner, but I fucking hate the woods. I never feel relaxed. It's scary as shit. So like, I mean, it's a great like woodsy.
I mean, she met Sydney Sweeney in the woods. That's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing.
But yeah, she meets a weird little local, Sydney Sweeney, who starts hanging around, and
it gets weird.
They have a little flirtatious relationship,
a lot
and
of
things kind of go on from there, and it gets kind of weird. And
I don't want to give too much away because it's like you just have to watch it. But it's very atmospheric. The music was great. I mean, yeah, the actors were great.
The woods reminded me of home.
The director's a female, so like shout out girl power. A female. So yeah, it was honestly really great. And like I said, Sydney Sweeney like stole the show. She's always just I do want to bring up, I said, I feel like A24 needs to use her in their next horror flick. I really want to see Sydney Sweeney perform in like a really intense horror film.
Yeah, I was saying she seems like one of those actresses who could really be pushed to like a crazy limit. She could be the star of like one of those horror movies where somebody is just like pushed and pushed and pushed and just goes completely like bonkers.
Like Florence and Midsommar, like Hereditary, like that type of vibe. I would love to see her in that. I think she would do great.
I think she could be good in
Sydney Sweeney, your resume is just building by the minute. Let's plan a horror film.
Has she been in any horror movies yet?
Are we
forgetting any?
She's on a show that's coming out on Amazon Prime, I believe, called Voyeurs. Or like Voyeurs. And it's supposed to be scary, but I'm not positive if it's like A24 level, like Oscar, you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't compare. I don't know.
Hard to say.
I can't even say. We'll look into it, but like I want to see her on an A24 film is what I'm saying. Like A24 does a good job of keeping the kids in the ring. They've got Alexa Demi in all their films. So come on, show Sydney Sweeney's in Under the Silver Lake.
They got that goofy white boy.
Well, she's already in too. So let's keep building that A24 resume. That's what I want. Then we've got Angus.
We do. His washing machine's broken, so he has to use the laundromat like a normie.
Yeah,
it's crazy. He took some pics flexing in his fly blue outfit outside of the local laundromat.
Which is hilarious. I didn't even know like in LA you would ever go to a laundromat. Like, have you ever heard of anyone we know living in LA without laundry? I mean, that's not in the building.
If the laundry machines are broken, what do? You gotta go to the laundromat.
Oh, that's it. So he wasn't just going like.
No, he was like, I had to go to the laundromat because the laundry machines were being.
And that makes sense with Corona. He probably can't get like a maintenance guy to come by.
I don't know.
Oh, Angus, but yeah, I feel for you.
There he is at the laundromat. He looked good.
I feel like Alex can really relate to Angus in this small moment in time because Alex has to go to our New York laundromat anytime I just don't go.
Oh yeah.
he goes and does all of our laundry.
Yeah. And because of quarantine, we let it build up for about like probably 3 months almost. So the last times I've been doing laundry, I had to go like 3 weeks consecutively because the laundromat's only open a few days a week.
For Corona.
So I was there like every day at the exact same time, like once a week.
You're like homies with like the laundromat lady.
Yeah.
You guys have like a relationship. It's really cute.
Yeah, she nods at me whilst like eating her lunch and screaming to her friends on the phone.
So Angus, if you ever need any laundromat recommendations, like Alex could do a quick lookup or ask the lady at ours for any recommendations.
Yep.
Then we've got Jules. She's on Twitter. You know, she was asking if anyone had any new requests for anime. And Alex actually had a good request for any of you that do watch anime. We were kind of just listing off things because she said she had just watched, what is it, I don't watch anime.
Hunter just said that she had finished a rewatch of Neon Genesis Evangelion, which I love. And I recently watched a short anime film, not that short, it's like an hour and a half, called Angel's Egg, that is always kind of like recommended and talked about alongside Evangelion because it features a lot of like Christian symbology and weird like esoteric ancient religious themes.
Interesting.
Like Evangelion does.
So Jules would definitely be down for that, or Hunter, I should say.
I think she'd probably enjoy it. It was great. It's a weird movie. It's quiet. There's very little dialogue, very little music. It's beautifully animated. Like it looks incredible.
Dope.
And it has a pretty interesting like religious question that it postulates and some really interesting weird religious symbolism. It's all about the Ark.
Hunter, you hear this?
The Great Flood and the Ark.
Damn.
It was good. I liked it.
I tweeted her, so maybe she'll see your recommendation. Who knows?
Maybe.
I mean, if not, she's missing out.
It's about a little girl that has to protect an egg. Ooh. So there you go.
Can't imagine how exciting that is. Anyway.
It's a very exciting page.
I know. A lot of our fans love anime, so I'm not here shitting on it. I just have been very close-minded to it and haven't really dived in. I should, though. I probably would like it. I like the style behind anime. I just haven't, like, watched any.
Come on.
So then we've got Jacob Elordi over here, taking a step back from the Nate role and diving into Broadway random, or I don't know if you'd call it Broadway. I guess, yeah, because it's like acting live. It's like kind of Broadway-esque. But he was doing Pride and Prejudice on like a live Zoom type. I don't even know how they would do that. It's so weird because there's like, I was laughing. Someone made a meme and I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I absolutely will. So maybe next time I'll tell you about it.
Do you think he like put on that costume and like pranced around in his living room? Like, what's strange is
none of them looked like they were dressed up. No, I looked at pictures because people were taking screenshots of like the screen, and I was kind of perplexed because maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they were dressed up.
Was it more like a table read?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so he wasn't like in his sweats, like dancing around. Like,
no,
with his
they were all
top
sitting. But I do want to watch it because I feel like it's got to be fucking hilarious. I'm not saying he'd be a bad Mr. Darcy, but I don't really see it. But also, like, he's such a good actor that I'm like, maybe he did a great job. I don't know. I need to watch it. I can't really review it, but if you all are, bored and want some more content, he did do that, and I think it's on his page, so you can just go to the link in his bio and watch it. But
from Nate Jacobs to Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy.
Yeah.
So stupid. I mean, I'm sorry. Pride and Prejudice is really stupid. But you know what? Boring. I'm really glad he's dipping his toes into Broadway because, oh my God, I fucking love Broadway. So my dream would be Jacob to be on Broadway. I mean, I'd be here for it.
That's your dream?
It's not my dream, but it's one of my many. I have a lot of dreams, Alex. I have a lot. And one of them, yes, is Jacob Elordi on Broadway.
Wow.
Okay, so then Cal apparently, I think he's like copying Sydney Sweeney and perhaps might be hinting toward
Are we getting an Eric Dane book club?
A quarantine book club.
I have
by
to say,
Cal.
I appreciate his choice of book club book.
Yeah, tell us about it.
He's reading a book
called Metamorphosis?
Metamorphosis, yeah. The many mutations of hardcore
punk
mutations.
Or something. Not Metamorphosis.
Yeah. Right,
so wrong. It's called Mutations.
Called Mutations. The Many Faces of Hardcore Punk or something like that.
Yes.
But it's a history of the hardcore punk scene, probably starting in like the mid 80s, I would guess. It's not my favorite era of punk personally. But it seems like the book is super solid. It got pretty great reviews from like Pitchfork and stuff. So if you're a hardcore
do you think he
punk
listens
fan,
to that?
I mean, he must. Why on earth would you ever read that book if you didn't listen to hardcore punk? Like,
I don't know. I feel like that'd be great though.
Must.
Like if it's
he's about the right age to have like been listening.
Is it screamo?
No.
Oh.
No, not Screamo. Oh, God.
Yeah.
No one should ever write a history of Screamo. That can just be forgotten, and it would be okay. We can let Screamo die.
But, like, so, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Cal's listening to hardcore punk before he goes on set. Or Eric Dana's. Maybe he's in his trailer, like, busting it out. Like, he's just getting high and, like, blasting, like, hardcore punk.
He's just, like, smashing beer cans on his head. And
yeah.
Like, or maybe he's straight edge.
He's mutating into Cal, literally. He's a mutation of Cal.
Oh, Cal definitely does not listen to punk.
What do you think Cal listens to? I think he listens to... That's
a good question.
Cal listens to Enya and, like, classical, like Psycho. Like, listens to a lot
classical.
Of, like,
I think Enya's too sensitive for him. I could see classical. He doesn't really strike me. I don't know why I said
Enya. I was thinking of, like, the serial killer scene and Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, and I'm thinking, like, Cal.
Yeah, he could be... I could see him just in, like, classic, like...
Mozart.
Suburban dad form, listening to just, like, the old, like, 80s, like... hair metal hits, you know, like dad radio.
Some Van Halen.
I don't think he'd have much fun, but like I feel like that's what, like when he's like talking about Mac and Mash and being real dad, I feel like he'd be listening to like the good old like 80s like hit station.
He also like wants to be really manly, so maybe he's listening to like macho man. I wanna be. Yeah, he's doing that.
I don't think
his trailer.
I don't think he's cool with Village People. They're like the gayest band ever.
Well, he should be cool with it. I mean,
well, I don't think he's openly cool with it. I bet you're right though. I bet like before his like motel hookups, he's probably listening to like Macho Man.
Yeah,
getting his gay on.
Or Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I gotta get in the zone.
Well, the only other cool quarantine content I have is that Maud, who's just so adorable, which we haven't watched her show either. We've just had a lot on our plates with our podcast, but she's having great times with her cat. She posted a cute Instagram today that was like, it's Catterday, which 100% we're here for. I mean, I really wish her cat could meet Meatball.
What's her cat's name? Do we know?
What's her cat's name?
Yeah, do we know? Fuck. Not that it's important. I was just curious.
It is important. What do you mean it's not important?
I mean, I guess it's very important. You're right.
So important.
Not that they ever answer to it.
I mean, think about Meatball. If he wasn't named Meatball, like that would suck.
Yeah, true.
How do you say his name in different languages again? Meatball.
His name in Spanish is Albondiga.
Albondiga.
In Italian, it's Polpetta.
Little Polpetta.
Little Polpetta. And in Japanese, it's Mitoboru.
Mitoboru. That's my favorite,
That's all I know. Just those three.
Cute. Well, we'll find out her cat's name because that is really important.
True.
Okay, well, that's all I have for quarantine content. But what a wild week for our cast members.
Indeed.
Wild week.
Everyone is handling quarantine differently, and it's been fun to watch.
Very differently.
Yeah.
I would love to see their group chats. You know they have one going on during quarantine.
You think?
Yes, because one thing I will mention is they're all very, like, it's cute. They're all very supportive of one another on Instagram. The minute someone posts something, you just see, like, flooding in a comment from every single person on the cast being like, okay, boo, I see you. Like, okay, like, quarantine,
Classic.
baby. Like, they're all, like, really funny.
Classic.
Yeah, so I love that. Like, they're a very, like, close family type crew, so I feel like it's just fun. So they definitely have a group text going on during quarantine. I guarantee it. Like, I bet Zendaya is sending them Shrek memes all week long.
Yes. Good.
Well, without further ado, I think it's time to get euphoric and just start into the last episode of the season.
The last one, episode 8, which is titled "And Salt the Earth Behind You." Is that right?
Yep. That's right. Explain to our listeners, because I, honest to God, like, you've told me now a couple times what this means, and I still don't know what it means.
I only know because I'm a big history nerd, but it's a term that's related to ancient warfare, which was basically like if you beat somebody at war and you really wanted to be like, fuck you, like it was a real personal, like, battle. You hated them war, you would go around all their fields and all their land and throw salt on it, because that, like, basically, like, that makes the earth barren. Like, nothing can grow when the land's just fucking covered in salt.
You know what's funny?
Then they can't like rebuild their civilization there. So if you like the classic one is like Rome and Carthage. Like when Rome like finally like razed Carthage to the ground, they wiped out the city and then they salted the earth so that they could never like rebuild Carthage there and like come back to like fuck up Rome. It was like, you're done. Like,
the ultimate
this is
revenge.
Like,
yeah.
The ultimate fuck you.
You don't exist.
You can't ever build this city here again.
That's cool. Then I like that they use that as the title then, because I know we were a little bothered by like the hip hop songs like ending, but I think for the finale that's a great one because she also directly quotes that later on when her and Rue are on the steps. Did you know that or catch that?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it's when Jules is talking about Nate being a fuck and her being like, I'm glad.
No,
like...
it's when they're talking about town. Rue is like, I want to burn this town down. And then Jules is like, yeah, and salt the earth behind you. Like,
so you know what? I'm so stupid. Before we really, did the deep dive and started our podcast, I always thought the title, which makes no sense. I thought it meant when you throw salt behind you and it's like for good luck. Huh. It doesn't match anything, but that's I just thought, I'm like, maybe for like the future, where it's like, oh, like I hope I'm not an addict, and like throw salt behind her back. Like Jules is like, oh man, I hope Anna, fucks off. Yeah. Throw salt.
I was on Wikipedia the other day and saw something really funny where, for each episode they list like the title and then it says what hip hop song it's referencing, and for episode 7, the trials of tribulations of trying to pee while you're depressed or whatever. Wikipedia lists that as a reference to an album called Trials and Tribulations by some like obscure rap artist that's on DJ Khaled's label that I'd never heard of before. And I was like, there is no way the title of that episode is a reference to this DJ Khaled like signed artist like album from like a couple years ago.
The music's too good and the curation of everything is way too like superior for it to be DJ
I feel like
Khaled.
we need a citation for that on Wikipedia because I don't buy it.
Maybe would you be so embarrassed though if it is? Maybe we should like do a little more digging.
I don't buy it.
Well, then we have this great opening scene, which I actually love. I think Rue's so cute in this. It's like her in the hospital. She's like living her best life, and she kind of goes into how like for her a hospital is like a safe haven.
Like it's vacation.
Literally a vacation. It's like throw your cares away, throw the salt behind you, if you will. She gets to just like enjoy. There's no pressure, there's no outside world like interference. It's like everyone's waiting on her hand and foot. And I was telling Alex, I weirdly like it's not like easy for me to admit this, but I can relate to Rue in a lot of ways, and this is one I can, because I think similar to me in my personal life, some people like their way of coping is like not allowing anyone to help you. So when you're like in a situation where you're being forced to like be helped and like having everyone help you, it does feel really good. So I get that. Like I don't think she means like, oh, I like love a hospital, I want to live here for life. It's more of just like it's a really nice like breather. Like it's like, oh, like I'm being helped, and you're
forced to relax and you're forced to allow people to like aid you and wait on you and stuff. So I can see it like in her circumstance why that's the case.
It's comforting.
I would be miserable. I fucking hate a hospital, but
I know, and it's weird. I don't like a hospital though. Like it's weird for me. I just mean more I understand like I like when I'm sick and like someone's taking care of me. Like I don't like being sick.
Right.
But I like the feeling. It's comforting.
Yeah. It's also kind of like quarantine. She's basically like, I have nothing to do. I have no responsibilities. Like I just like fucking kick it and walk around in my underwear and eat Jell-O and watch Judge Judy.
Yeah.
So
and let my life like kind of waste away. And it doesn't matter.
Kind of relate right now.
Yeah, I think everyone can relate to Rue right now.
Yeah.
Also, sadly, not that I like to admit this, but it's also a really easy gateway for her to have access to drugs. Not that easy because the doctor
she tries.
Catches her.
She does her best to try, but Rue's a pretty bad actor, so her whole shtick about like I think they gave me this one drug, like whatever.
Roxaset? She literally says
Roxaset. Is it Roxaset? Which I looked up. I didn't know what that was, but it's just like it's a combination of like oxy and acetaminophen.
Oh, great. Very casual.
Yeah, but Rue does her best to get some drugs, which is a bummer because she's been sober for so long. But the doctors, luckily, are not completely incompetent and catch that, so she doesn't get her drugs.
Thank God. I know. I like how they're like, well, your mom says you have a long history of drug abuse, so that's going to be a no. And they just give her, like, Tylenol. Like, But also, you know what does suck is, like, that really would be shitty if you were in pain. If, like, you had an addiction and they literally wouldn't give you drugs. Like, that would fucking suck. I think she's fine.
Sorry, sweaty.
I know. She's fine. She's doing great. And then she asked for Vicodin, too, I think. Or, I don't know. She's like, how about Vicodin? Like, can I still get that? And they're just like, nah, dude.
That's what they offer her first. And
yeah.
then she's like, oh, there was this other one.
Yeah, like a stronger one.
Yeah, she tries to get the good.
And then they don't even give her the Vicodin. It's like you blew it. You could have at least gotten a Vicodin out of it.
I know, they fucked up offering her that in the first place.
Alex digs Vicodin. I've never tried it. I don't really like to promote people trying any painkillers for fun, but you might have a different side to it.
No, I mean, I would never ever promote that. Like,
no, not promote, but you know what I mean. Like, I'd be pretty pissed if we had a kid and I found out they were like stealing a Vicodin.
Painkillers are like mega addictive.
Yeah,
no bueno. Don't do painkillers.
No, but yeah, it makes sense why she'd be like tempted. I mean, you're in a hospital; they're everywhere. Anything else about the hospital that you found interesting? I mean, her comparing sitting in a hospital bed to lounging in a pool chair, that's where I kind of drew the line. I was like, okay, like, no. The sound of beeping and, like, the warm, like, gross, overused air draft, that's not the same as, like, being in the Maldives on a lounge chair by the ocean.
Rue's kind of fucked up, though. Like, she's had a gnarly life, and this is what passes for a vacation for her, which is a bummer, but there you have it. She likes a couple of days in the hospital.
Yeah. We should make a meme maybe of her laying in the hospital bed as Shrek.
Yes.
So then we get this really cute scene of Rue and Jules. They're getting ready for prom. What a big night high school prom is. I mean...
Going to prom together. Not for me, but for many people. You still
had okay, that was the first time you drank.
I did drink for the first time. Like, it wasn't the first time. It was the first time with people.
With people,
I drank for the first time with people after prom. Which was fun.
I did not drink at my prom. But
sorry, sweaty.
Anyways, we won't get too far into that because we might in another episode maybe touch on our high school moments.
Stay tuned for an episode on high school experiences.
High school Paige and high school Alex.
Very different.
Very different.
Could not be more different.
But they're getting ready for prom. And it's cute. I mean, it is cute because they're kind of reunited. And also, I forgot to mention in the hospital that it is kind of like a sincere moment where you can tell Jules is feeling... We already know she's overwhelmed by the fact that Rue, like, is depending on her a lot. But, like, now I'm kind of at the point where I am a little bit empathetic toward Jules because I'm like, yeah, that would fucking suck. Like, you, like, care about someone, you love them, and they're in the hospital, and you know it's because, like, you went away for just a weekend. Like, that's a lot of pressure
to take on
a high schooler.
Yeah. Jules is kind of a mixed bag in this episode, but these are some times when she's being really good. Yeah. She's being real nice to her in the hospital, and then when they're getting ready, she's saying she looks fucking amazing.
She's cute. She's doing her makeup, and I think she has a lot of regret for, like, things that she's done, and I don't know. And she opens up to her about Nate, so she's a little more, like, back to, like, good Jules in this moment.
Yeah, we see the good Jules at the beginning.
Yes.
It won't be that way the whole episode. But,
no, but they're getting ready, and
she also makes a joke about how Rue dresses like Seth Rogen, which is so accurate and funny.
So accurate. I laughed out loud the first time I watched that because I was like, I was always kind of trying to finger point what she dressed like. Line. It's perfect.
When she's
how Seth Rogen feels about that.
I mean, he knows what's up.
I know, he's so fucking funny.
Yeah.
But also in that scene, there's a part where Jules is like, oh, like I have to tell you about Anna, and like, look at this, like she bit me.
This is the bad side of Jules. Jules is like, you would die for Anna. Like, no, Rue would not die for Anna.
Anna is so boring. Bye, Anna. Anna's in LA. She's not relevant. She's not in high school. Who cares? And also, like, to be fair, they don't even show enough of Anna where you're convinced. Like, I know I just naturally hate Anna, and, like, that kind of, like, makes it biased, but also they don't give us anything about her personality that would be like, wow, like Rue should be so excited about meeting Anna. Like,
and Jules is just going on and on. It's like, get a clue. Rue doesn't want to hear about your fucking lover from LA.
No.
Like, come on.
And she's not her lover. It's like you literally went to a club, rave with her.
Get a clue, Jules.
It's just immature.
Pretty insensitive and kind of immature here and shit.
Yeah, and she might not be aware of it because she's pretty naive and kind of immature, but also just whatever. And then we get this great, great scene. Probably weirdly one of my favorite scenes when Nate's in a chair lit on fire.
So cathartic.
It's great, but it's also like they're both dressed so well. Their makeup's amazing. I mean, Jules' like eye things are so cool, badass, and like her long net shirt.
Shit, I just remembered something I forgot to tell you about before this episode that I gotta tell you about right now.
Okay.
So the other day they were selling Euphoria scripts on Etsy or something, like to raise money.
What?
And people that have been buying them. I just found this out today, and I meant to tell you this, and I forgot. But people have been like posting them online and stuff.
Yeah.
And in some early scripts, the show opens with Rue being with Nate's funeral and Rue being like, I killed him.
What?
They're like at the school and they're having Nate's funeral on the football field and Rue is in the bleachers and she's like saying all this stuff about Nate and then she's like, and yeah, I killed him.
Oh my
and
God.
Rue like fucking murdered Nate. So early versions of the Euphoria script had it be like that. So, you know, maybe season 2 we'll see the culmination of that.
Maybe. That's really interesting. I want to look at that after this.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that. So right now.
No, that's great. That's crazy. That would be weird. But yeah, like, I love it. What does she say? She's like, you're a fucking pussy or something? She's like, yeah, like, he's a fucking pussy. That's what Jules says. And they, like, shoot him, like, 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, he's on fire, and they just, like, empty a clip into him. It's great.
It's really just, like, a very empowering scene for Rue and Jules together, and I really love it.
Yeah. And then we get Rhythm of the Night by Debarge.
Yeah.
Classic
great song.
80s, like, boy band-ish group.
It's kind of the perfect, like,
I love it.
80s prom song. Like,
it's a good song.
You know, it's a song you might play when you're getting ready for prom.
Debarge are great. I doubt many of the kids these days are playing that.
I'm kidding. I'm, like, imagining what they're really listening to. It's definitely, like, DJ Khaled and fucking Post Malone.
Well, yeah. Post Malone's okay.
Yeah, I didn't mean that in a negative way. I just mean that's what the kids are listening to. The kids, meaning our age. But anyways, so then we get the intro card, really simple, and then we go right to the church. And her mother's reading this, like, super, super raw, emotional letter. Mm-hmm. And I guess your assumption was this is kind of like a mock funeral?
Yeah, I mean, this scene can be read. It's not super clear what this scene is.
Yeah. It's not
the way really. I read this scene was that this was a like mock funeral as part of Rue's rehab, because that happens in the world. They like put on these very dramatic like fake funerals where it's like, take a look at this, like this is what it would be like if you overdose, like look at your family, they're all weeping, they're giving speeches, like here's the coffin and shit, like imagine it. Or like sometimes they even have people get in the coffin and they're like, imagine this shit, like that's part of some drug like treatments. So I initially thought this scene, I mean I still think this scene is probably part of that, but it's pretty unclear what it is. Rue is sitting apart from her family. Yeah, like Gia's on the other end crying. Gia's crying. So it kind of would explain why Rue wasn't like sitting with her family. Mm-hmm. But also Rue's not really looking like super reactive to what's happening. She
looks sad to me. She's like holding back tears. But... For me, I told Alex this earlier. Before my very first time watching Euphoria, I immediately was like, fuck, this is her funeral and she's not really there.
And she's like a ghost.
Yeah, or not like, you know, when you say ghost, it sounds stupid, but I literally did think that. I was like, fuck, we're going to lose Rue. Because to me, it's like, man, it was so emotional that I was like, there's no way this is fucking fake. But also, like, that was my very first time watching it. And then we'll get into it later, but like it was then even more confirmed when I saw the end scene, because I literally thought Rue died. So I was like, shit, that was like her funeral.
And
but
I still think it is pretty ambiguous what this scene is. Like,
well, you were saying Ali wasn't there, which is weird. Not that he wasn't there. It was weird, but like it is strange that like they don't even like pan to him or anything. Or wouldn't he be there?
Why would he be there?
Oh, never mind. I always think it's the AA group, but you're saying this is right when she gets out of rehab.
I was thinking this was part of her rehab program.
Got it.
Like part of
Sorry,
rehab.
I fucked up. I thought like it was her little like AA group
I don't think it's
reenacting
part
like a
of
funeral, and then it's like invite your parent to AA day.
Right. No, I don't think you do that in AA.
Do they do that?
But that does bring up an interesting point about Ali, which is that he kind of gets dropped as a character. He's like, a little bit. He's a great character, and they bring him in, and he teaches Rue an important lesson.
But to be fair, when would they have really like brought him in the next 2 episodes? They don't really ever go back to AA.
Well, he could have continued to be like a mentor figure to Rue.
Yeah, like checking in before prom.
I mean, yeah, there's
putting her corsage on her wrist.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways he could have continued to be this like mentor / like father figure to her.
She could have invited him over for dinner.
And they kind of drop him, which is kind of a bummer because I really like Ali.
She could have hooked him up with the mom.
Yeah.
Oh my god, Ali could be her father.
Oh my god. Maybe Ali, I mean, it's hard to say whether Ali's a ghost or not because he kind of gets dropped. I don't think he is at all, but like...
Yeah, I know what you mean.
In rewatching the season, I thought he was in it more, and then I was like, yeah, he really does...
just kind of disappear.
I hope we see some more Ali in season 2, because I like him. But he does serve the purpose of teaching Rue the very important lesson that Jules is kind of like her new drug, and that's a pretty important moment in the show, is Rue like realizing that.
Totally.
So he does.
And maybe he will be in season 2, and we can kind of talk about it then, because my thoughts are brewing now. I'm like, he'll probably be a heavy presence in season 2 if she indeed did relapse at the end of this episode. See. Spoiler alert, but you all should have already seen this show. I mean, come on, don't listen to this if you haven't watched the finale all the way through.
We shall see.
So then we transition really into a montage of so many different things happening at prom. And honestly, I was telling Alex, this episode was hard for us to kind of like bullet point what we wanted to talk about because it hops around so much. So we kind of just like, we're not like necessarily going in chronological order because this hops around so much.
We're just going to jump through a lot of the prom shit.
And but I really like this episode.
Broadly cover prom.
This might be my favorite. I think it is my favorite episode. And I do actually love that it does that. I like that it's so fast paced and like you're just getting so many different character stories. And I will just really quickly say this. I listened to like a Sam Levinson interview and it kind of aligned with what I love about Euphoria. And it stuck with me, which is that he said, Euphoria is such a great show because you do deeply care about each character, meaning like you're wanting to know like that you have empathy to each character even if you don't like them. I know you won't agree, but for me it resonated because I'm like, yes, like every character except for Nate, and even sometimes it's very, very, very like few times, but there are some small times like when Nate's hitting his head on the ground later we talk about where I do feel a little bit of empathy. So I like that like it's true. It's very rare I've watched a television show where I deeply care for each character to the point where I'm like, I really want to know like what happens to them. Like I want to know like you're like worried about them, in other words. Even if you don't like them, you're like almost stressed. You're like, I just want to know that they're like they're alive and like they're doing okay, I guess. Like I don't know. For me that resonated and I thought that was interesting because I've never had that in a show. It's usually like I hate people, I love people, that's it.
That scene is interesting, the head hitting one, because it's well acted and it's a super intense scene, but it does kind of come across a little bit like a last ditch effort to like give you a little empathy for Nate. It feels a little manipulative in that way where it's like, hold up, you've hated this guy the whole season, he's been a piece of shit, but in the last episode we're gonna give you this one scene and now you're gonna feel bad for him.
Totally.
But I mean,
I just thought that was an interesting
it's hard not to feel bad for the guy after that scene, but like still fucking
I was just curious if like other followers or fans felt the same way because I definitely feel that way. I almost like you said, it's like hard to hate characters, like they care about them. They keep you
pretty invested in the characters' storylines regardless of whether you like them or not. Like I think a good example is McKay. Like we obviously are not huge fans of McKay, but like he still is an interesting character and you're still invested in his storyline.
Yeah, like you want to know what happened and how he's affected from the weird rapey scene.
Yeah, which is interesting because he does not show up at all in this episode. We get zero McKay. Episode 8.
That does kind of suck because it's like the finale.
The weird thing about that too is he's listed very prominently in the credits, but he's not in the episode.
Interesting.
He's like top 5 in the credits for this episode.
Weird.
But does not appear. I wonder why that is.
That's interesting. I never thought of that. Well, so yeah, we're going to get right into prom. So prom's crazy. First of all, the whole scene setup for prom is so great. I love the school. I love the coloring. I love the stars. I just love it. I think it's so like, I don't know. I feel like prom can be so whatever. Like my prom was like, wah, wah, wah. Like not that cool. So I kind of liked it. It was so euphoric, if you will. I don't know. I loved the way they shot it. I liked it.
Even their prom though is a little bit of
but you know what I mean. I mean aesthetically, it's very pleasing. Like it's very Euphoria.
It looks nice, but in terms of like epicness, it doesn't really approach like Halloween or the party from the first episode. No. In terms of being like a significant,
real
event.
rager. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just liked like the look of it. It was very like like when they're first walking in. I love that scene of Rue and Jules like kind of like looking at each other and looking up like all excited. It's just like cute because it's like it's prom
and pre-prom. We get Rue and Jules doing their photos and their parents are hanging out together, drinking wine and making jokes about the hard alcohol.
Funny. That's so funny. And then like Rue like pretends to like shoot up.
Yeah, Rue's like, don't worry, I'm not triggered. It's okay. Like,
it's just hilarious to see their reactions because like her mom's date, what is it, Rick? He's just kind of like nervous, like, and then Jules is like, oh my god, like Rue, what are you doing? But it's funny.
Wait, Rick now?
No, the Rick that the mom's dating. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, he was right there when she was like, oh, don't worry, I'm not triggered. Like, and, like, Rick was just kind of like, oh, my God.
No, that's Jules' dad. Rick's not in this episode.
Yeah, he is. No, it's not her dad. Her dad's dad, baby.
No, Jules' dad. Oh, that's Jules' dad and Rue's mom hanging out before they go to prom.
Oh my god.
It's not Rick.
Oh my god. I thought you were saying it was Rue's dad. I was like, oh my god, Alex.
No. It's Jules' dad.
Got it.
They're like hanging out pre-prom.
Well, I fucked up.
Like, having
that's
some
cute.
drinks.
That's even better.
I know. That's why I like that scene.
Damn.
They're like hanging out, making
Maybe
jokes. They're getting to know each other.
Dude, that would suck if they dated. That would ruin everything.
Well, I know. That would be, especially if Rue and Jules like have a big falling out, then you get the parents dating. Who knows? They had a little chemistry. They were having some drinks. They were having some fun.
I mean, I feel so stupid now. I thought it was Rick. I don't know why. Anyways, prom montage. Here we go. Lots of stuff going on. We'll talk, their outfits later, or maybe we'll talk about them now. I don't know. I absolutely adore Maddie's dress. I would just die to wear that in my high school prom. That was my favorite. I mean, they all really look great. I think so.
I think, yeah, I would agree for the most part.
They show up. They sit at their round table, and we get this instant kind of like heart-to-heart discussion of peaking in high school.
Yeah, they have there's a couple discussions in this episode about the nature of high school that are good and kind of reflect the different opinions on it. And we've got...
Cassie's is the most... We were saying like Cassie and Lexi's were the most accurate, and Jules a little bit.
Yeah, we get Cassie and Lexi getting ready for prom too. And Cassie has really cool angel lamps.
It's on her like what do you call it? Like her cosmetic vanity. Table, her vanity. Yeah, they're so cool. If any of you Euphorians rewatch, you have to look. Like her little side lamps are so dope. Cool. They're really cool.
They're fucking cool. And then the mom sends them off to prom. They're at the table with everyone. Cassie kind of she's of the opinion that high school is kind of like the last great moment of no responsibility and fun, and then from there on it's like
life
bills
sucks.
And boring husbands and houses and all this shit. And then Jules is very much of the opposite opinion, which is that high school is this very like suffocating place where it's hard to be yourself, and there's all these like bullshit standards, and it's very oppressive. And then once you're out of high school,
it's like
this world is opened up, and you have so much like possibility, and there's so much you can do with your life.
And you know what? I just thought of this, but we will absolutely revisit this when we do our little like Paige and Alex high school episode, because I have a lot of thoughts about it, but I don't know if I want to like dive in now. But like I'm a little more on Cassie's side, but I know you're probably more Jules.
I'm on the Jules
because
side.
Of our high school experiences, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it also probably relates to whether you're a person that peaked in high school or a person that peaked out of high school. Like I think you could generally say that people that are high school peakers are of the mindset that like this is it. The rest is all downhill.
Time to shine.
Whereas the people that are like non-high school peakers are the ones who are like, just get me the fuck out of high school.
Yeah,
like I can't wait to be out of here. Everything is about to get so much better the second I leave this place.
I feel that. So they all have this like great discussion. Honestly, we were saying that like in this moment, Maddie's kind of a bitch. Like they all kind of go around and like talk about where they're at in life, and Rue's like I don't know, like, or I don't know what she says, but she says something, and then Jules is like, oh, but you've been sober for 3 months, like be stoked about that. And then Maddie's like, but weren't you in rehab like 6 months ago? It's like, shut up.
And she's like, there were 3 months when I thought you were dead. Like she's being a real bitch to Rue, which is totally unwarranted.
Yeah, and weird. It's like, why at prom would you bring up Rue almost dying? Yeah. Just not the right time or place.
You're dating Nate Jacobs, which is worse than going to rehab.
Exactly. So
you're like the last one that gets to talk.
Maddie did not look good in
there's
that
no
moment.
Real like makeup between Kat and Maddie either. They kind of just they're like
they kind of eye each other across the table,
acting like it's cool, but like there was no real like conclusion to their drama from the last episode either.
No closure at all. We don't know if they're good or not.
Fuck Maddie being mean to Rue.
Yeah, like who's mean to Rue to start?
So whack.
And then Jules' phone is oh wait, no, first justice for BB. What the actual fuck? Why is BB not at the table? Where is Julie Janice?
She was invited to the dramatic abortion sit down, but she doesn't get invited to the prom table. Like what the hell?
I don't understand.
And it's not upsetting. Like it's she didn't have anyone to go with, because almost all of them are there alone. So this isn't like she didn't have a date or something. Like,
no. And honestly,
maybe she's too cool for prom, but she doesn't seem like it.
She's like the life of the party though. I was like, damn,
like
where's BB at though? And I would love to have seen BB's prom outfit. I'm pissed. I think she would have worn like an oversized motorbike jersey with like lace up like high heeled boots and like a updo.
No, she'd probably be in like a really like skanky dress.
Yeah, but like in a good way.
The real like skanky like prom dress that's like a
real
huge
tiny
slit and like
Cool. Well, you know what? Justice for BB, and honestly, like, I want to know why she wasn't inserted in the finale. There's no justice there. Well, other than that, at prom, there's a couple of other things that happened. Do you want to talk about Kat and Ethan's little rendezvous?
Yeah, Kat.
So sweet.
Kat kind of makes it good with Ethan.
Well, I think it's because they're all talking about life, and like it kind of like hits her like, fuck, I need to make a move, because she gets up and she fucking darts. Like, she doesn't say like, hey guys, I'll be back. She just like beelines it.
Pre-prom too, we see Kat with her mom, and she's putting on her outfit, and she's feeling like not the hottest, which is sad.
It's
but
so
I think
shitty.
Overall, this whole episode, Kat's really like, she's feeling the heat. She's kind of like she's having the breakdown. Everything's been wild for Kat. She's had some crazy weeks. She's been banging. She went from banging McLovin to like online twerking for money in like not that long. She's been a real bitch to Ethan, who's just been like sweet boy. So now she's kind of like, it's all coming to a head.
It's a lot.
She's feeling not great about herself. And
it's also sad.
She's gotta come back to it.
It's also sad because I watched also another interview of all the cast like talking about how it was to like film their character, and she like got super emotional, like almost started crying. She was like, I don't relate to Kat, meaning like I had pay pigs and I had all this stuff going on, but I know what it's like to like put on a dress and feel like shit. And
you
like,
didn't have pay pigs?
Not
everybody
me.
had pay
I'm saying
pigs.
Kat. But yeah, like she was just saying that like filming that was really tough because it was almost in a way like therapeutic. Like she was literally like reliving like her actual high school life. So she was like, when I was like crying in the closet, for instance, like putting on that dress, like that wasn't like me having to really work up for that scene. It like literally felt like I was reenacting like growing up, being a teenager, especially her being in the limelight. She has like a family of Hollywood actors and actresses.
Right.
So I don't know. I just thought like, oh, that made me like kind of even more. I already have so much empathy for Kat, but like it's cool that like she was able to like project the realness of it. It's not just like phony. It's like she really went through that in her real life, and then it just shows.
And Kat's obviously at her realist in this episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, she.
But her and Ethan kiss, and it's so cute.
Yeah, she goes over to Ethan. He's real sweet. He says
he's so forgiving.
He's gonna try really hard to not be the one to break her heart. And,
high school love. It's really cute though.
Yeah,
it's cute too because she like totally is vulnerable.
And then all the girls are like, "Woo!"
Yeah, and Lexi yells something, and Cassie's like, "Oh my god, like Lexi, I love you." She's just drunk and is like hooting and hollering.
Yeah.
We love Lexi in this.
Yeah, I love drunk Lexi. She's great. She's fucking hilarious.
We love Lexi all the time, but yes, drunk Lexi is really fun.
Great.
I want to see more drunk Lexi.
She's also reminds me the most of me. She's very like
goofy.
Very like she's a goofy drunk, but she's very rational, and like high school is bullshit, which is how I was. Like I had no fun in high school because I hated everyone. I thought it was all a bunch of dramatic bullshit, and I like didn't have any fun because of it. And that feels pretty close to how Lexi is in these episodes. She's like, this is all like so dramatic. None of this matters. This is all so
it's
like
just,
silly.
Funny.
So
she doesn't take it too seriously. Is there anything? Oh, so then we get Jules' phone buzzing off the fucking hook, and guess who it is? Stinky Anna.
Stupid stank ass Anna.
Like, fuck off. She's at her prom. Leave her alone. She's like, I miss you. I bet you wish you were here. It's like, oh my fucking god.
Whatever. Jules runs away to the bathroom to text her.
Yeah, it's just kind of a silly. Like, I don't even really need to go into it that much. Like, Rue goes after her to find her, and Rue kind of goes in the stall with her, and I think Jules is like hoping this will work. I almost feel like Jules does this on purpose so that Rue will be like, where's Jules? Oh my god, I gotta go find her. And she knew that Rue was going to end up there because when she goes in the stall, Jules is all like seductive and like, oh, like almost like I knew you'd be here.
I think Jules, like this whole episode, now that she's kind of seen this world and this life, I think she's kind of trying to goad Rue into like being about that life. Like she's like, have you ever been bitten? Like, would you like it? And Rue's like not feeling it. And then she's doing the same thing here. She's like trying to goad Rue if you made out with me or aggressive and kiss her and stuff. Basically like it almost feels like she's wanting Rue to like be Anna and trying to get her to like conform to these behaviors and do these things, and it's not who Rue is, so it's not working. And like
it's also not why she loves Rue, which just sucks. Like as a friend, like if you were to remove the romance factor, it's like if Rue acted like that, you guys wouldn't even be best friends.
Right, those aren't the things that she ever loved about Rue, and it's but good for Rue because Rue has like wanted Jules forever, and Jules is basically like make out with me, and Rue is being true to herself and is like this isn't really like it, like this isn't how I want it. It doesn't feel right. Like It's not really like me or us.
In a stinky high school, like, poop-filled tampon girls'
like
bathroom.
Rank in there. There's people having dranky poops and drug poops and
yeah, tuna salad for sure.
And like way too much perfume and shit.
Yeah, bad. I can't even talk about it. It makes me sick.
Stank.
So other than that, is there anything else like within prom that you want to talk about? Because now we're gonna skip to Nate and Maddie hooking up, unless you have anything else that you thought was significant within like the prom montage, if you will. Because like we said, it skips around so much.
What do we think about everyone's outfits?
So I already said I love Maddie, adore it. Like I literally die for it. I love the earrings. I love the little like half veil. I just think it's so hot, so different, and she looks just fabulous. Cassie, you liked because she's very like natural.
Yeah, I think Cassie goes with like the very natural look. Like she's just kind of in like a pale pink or something. And she doesn't really have any makeup on. Very,
and I
like,
told
minimal.
you they did that intentional. It's supposed to be like her being very pure. It's like she just went through this really traumatic event of like the abortion. So like they did that intentionally to kind of like show that she's a little more confident.
Yeah, and she's very kind of like the whole like virginal natural thing kind of plays with the episode because now she's had the abortion. McKay's not in the episode at all. She's very like non-sexualized. She's like attached to men in this episode.
Totally. And I loved Kat's outfit. I mean, it's very fitting for her character. I know she didn't feel her best, but like she's certainly, I know you, other than the hair, and I agree with you now that you've told me about it, but I think overall, like, her makeup's great. I love the look. I think she should have walked in feeling really confident. It's a bummer she didn't because I thought she looked great.
Yeah, I like the dress. Like, I think it totally works. It's like her style, but it's kind of cool. It's working.
It's flattering.
But, oh man, I feel so bad for her because they gave her this haircut that is just horrendous. And immediately when I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I knew exactly what it reminded me of. And if you've ever seen the 80s Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger, there's 3 characters who are villains that just have the exact same haircut as her. And I pulled up a picture of it earlier, and it is the exact same haircut. So I just immediately was like, oh my God, she has the Barbarian haircut. Like, it is not flattering.
That's not her fault.
And her hair's looked great in other episodes of the season. I don't know why they had to do her like that with that the awful like bangs, like almost mullet thing.
Then we have Jules, which weirdly...
Not a fan.
Not a fan at all. And I know that we are definitely we're the opposing end on this because all of the followers and fans of Euphoria just adore her outfit.
I was surprised by that.
No shit. We obviously like stand for everything that like the symbol on the back of her shirt is super dope. It's obviously stands for everything good, everything Jules is about. We're absolutely
that's the best part of the
outfit.
I mean, that part totally works. The
but
clear
I'm saying
trench
that's not what we're being critical.
Right, the clear trench with the symbol on the back is great. It's political. It looks cool. That totally works. It's the rest of it that I'm like, oof. Like, I don't know why that
2 black hair.
The black hair
so
only
ugly.
in the front, like a skunk or something, is like not working at all.
No,
like,
it's just not a look.
The thing under the trench coat, like none of it really like works, and it's kind of shocking because Jules could have put together such a strong prom look, and even that trench the jacket could have gone with so much.
I was thinking, honestly, the hair is what throws it off the most. I don't even necessarily hate what she's wearing underneath. I just hate the hair. You're so distracted by the skunk hair that you don't even see the outfit. That's how I feel.
Yeah, not a fan.
And the makeup isn't bad, but it doesn't match anything. It's just kind of... It just doesn't click for me.
Agreed.
Not here for it. And then Rue, I think Rue looks beautiful. I really do.
Yeah.
I really think she's simple, but like very Euphoria with the glitter and the stars.
Classic theme of this show. Rue is dressed way better than anyone gives her credit for. Including
really
here. She looks great.
That's it for everyone.
And Jules dressed her. And so Jules did a good job dressing Rue. She just kind of... She
forgot about herself.
Well, what about Lexi? She's dressed very simply, but she looks like very high school. She looks
how you would look.
Yeah, she looks like an accurate high schooler.
They did a good job.
She looks cute.
And her mom's like, you look beautiful, which I love that part because you always hear the mom kind of like giving Cassie the compliments. I don't think it's on purpose, but we always see her like, oh, my daughter, like beautiful. Yep. So I thought it was really cute because you could tell Lexi felt really confident and like happy walking down the stairs because her mom was like, you just look so beautiful. And Cassie kind of just like let her have the the spotlight and like let her have that moment.
Get it, Lexi.
So then now we have Nate and Matt. Well, we're just gonna talk about this incident because it happens like in between all this shit.
Yeah, while they're doing the whole prom thing, they're intercutting to all these other like
storylines,
events that happened like concurrently or prior to prom.
So Nate and Maddie are like hooking up. Well, they're not hooking up because Nate cannot get it up.
Yeah, they're trying to bang, and for some incredible reason, Nate has decided that he's gonna lie about having a hard on.
Yeah,
which is hilarious because you can't lie about it. You
either
have a hard on
or
you don't. Maddie calls him on it.
Yeah, Maddie's like, "What do you mean you don't know?"
He's
like,
all pissy, and then he chokes her again.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, he is just fucking crazy, and he screams at her, and then she's not getting the prom invite after that. And you know what? Who gives a fuck? But then she leaves, and I love it. She's wearing this, like, two-piece, like, Juicy Couture looking, like, outfit. Her eyes are, like, raccoon eyes from crying because the son fucking choked. Cal's son fucking choked her.
Yep.
And she's, like, walking down the stairs, and Cal has this, like, such an annoying little, like, exchange with her, pretty much being, like, you're a distraction, and, like, both of you aren't good for each other. Like, he knows so much. Oh, you're so wise, Cal. Like, go back to your fucking bedroom, watch your porn.
Yeah, he tries to have this whole weird talk to, like...
and Matt is not having it
into not like dating Nate anymore, and she's just like, God, like your entire family is so fucking weird. Which is great. The most accurate thing Maddie's ever said. Like, that family is so fucking weird.
It is. And also, like, once again, back to just horrible parenting. Like, you're in high school and your son's just like fucking Maddie like loudly. Like, when they fuck, it's like the bed's like banging against the wall, like he's choking her. Like, this is a lot of noise. I don't care how big your house is.
Yeah,
like
weird.
The door's shut, and then she leaves, and the dad's not even like like at least act like you're mad that like you just heard them banging in the room. But like, there's just no rules. It's like, oh, you're a junior in high school. That's okay. Fuck in the bedroom. It's fine.
Fucking Jacob's family. But she doesn't leave empty-handed because while Nate is off showering after their hookup,
she grabs.
She sneaks over to the book and finds a little something,
a little bookmark.
A little disc, a little secret of Cal's old hookup with Jules.
I'm so glad she did.
So she snags that. We also see in that scene that Nate has a bunch of fucking Dallas Cowboys memorabilia. Like, big surprise he's a Cowboys fan. It's the douchiest team you could be into other than the Patriots.
Hey, I can't talk shit on them at all because my job, SeatGeek, we ticket for them. Don't make me in that position.
Anyway.
Don't put me in that position. I
but
love
also,
the Cowboys.
while Nate is showering, God, his bathroom looks like a fucking serial killer's kill room. Like, you know how they talk about people having the kill room where it's just like an empty like room that you can like spray down so you can get rid of all the blood. Like,
yeah, it's bad.
Nate's bathroom is a fucking kill room. It's terrifying.
It's really
I could
bad.
never be in there and be comfortable.
No, absolutely not. So what's nice about the finale is we do get a little bit of like a wrap up on Cassie's episode before this, which is that her mom takes her and Lexi actually go with her, which is really sweet, but she has to go through like the trauma of getting an abortion, which obviously is a very heavy topic. It's not like a super light thing that you can just brush under the rug. But I mean, I was telling Alex earlier, I mean, for any woman, this is absolutely traumatizing. But also, I think they do a good job of really showing like the nitty grittiness of having to like go into an abortion clinic. Like, just going through the process, they make it very realistic versus like, oh, like drama. Like, it's not like a soap opera, if you will. They actually like show like all white walls, like when she's getting the surgery, like meaning it should be like a warning to anyone who's out there young and having sex without protection. Like, it's not fucking like no big deal. It's fucking terrifying and awful and like really traumatic, and it just, everything about it. Like, I just had chills watching it when you can, like, hear the drill starting up or whatever, the vacuum that the doctor uses, and, like, him just nonchalantly being like, we usually give our patients these headphones, like, listen to a song, like, here you go. And it's just, like, that's what they're there to do. Like, they perform abortions daily. So it's just, like, very, like, run-of-the-mill, where for Cassie, she's, like, totally traumatized. She's obviously, like, so scared, sad, like, so many emotions. So I don't know. I just think Euphoria did a really good job of like showing the full process, but not making it like over dramatized or like, I don't know. I don't want to say glamorized because that's weird.
You see like the minutia and the banality of the process. It's just like being at the dentist for everybody but you.
Well, and you also have
They're all just going about,
it's just their
daily
jobs.
Medical procedures, but for you it's this very like traumatizing thing, so it's a weird at odds relationship.
Exactly.
But luckily she's got her mom and her sister there.
I was just gonna say that's the big plus is that also it's very rare that people that have to go through that unfortunately don't have the support she did. So like thank God she had her mother and Lexi there, But yeah, just overall as a woman, it's really hard to watch. Like, I definitely got a little emotional watching it because it's like, fuck, that would just be the worst. At that age, I can't even imagine.
At any age, that would
Any
be
age, of course.
shitty.
But I mean, like, especially at that age. Like, I wasn't even having sex at that age, so I can't even imagine. But, like, damn. So Sydney Sweeney just executes that all so well. And I also really obviously love her makeup look is so iconic when they show her ice skating. It's like her big grand finale, if you will. It's like her coming, it's like very metaphorical. It's like her coming out of this abortion like stronger and like a little more clear-headed, I think. I think she has a better idea of like her future that lies ahead. At least she thinks she does. But
yeah, that's crazy that she goes ice skating right after her abortion. It's probably not healthy, right?
So it's metaphorical. I don't think she's actually. But like, yes, I think it's more dreamlike. That's like another fantastical part of it. Yeah. But also we weren't joking because obviously abortion's not funny. And this scene in no means is like something to laugh about, but we were kind of like, what the fuck song would you listen to if you were like in such a traumatic moment like that? Like that would suck because whatever song you chose would be ruined forever.
You can't listen to it ever again. Yeah.
No, so and what song would you really even want to listen to? It's just like, ugh. Like,
All Star by Smash Mouth.
Okay. Maybe Zendaya because she loves Shrek. But
motivational.
But yeah, it would just be awful. All around just awful. Like, let's move on. That's just such a depressing, dark topic. Then we get Nate and Cal's infamous, like,
yes,
fight.
This is much less depressing.
Much less depressing and kind of fun to see. I kind of like when they
depressing. Fight. It's so fucked up.
I know, but I kind of like seeing Nate take his anger out on Cal for the first time.
Yeah, oof. Nate.
Do you know what I'm saying, though? I kind of like it because... I'm not saying I like it. Of course, it's really sad. But I like that, like, Cal is... finally seeing the outcome of like his bad parenting, meaning like he walks away from Nate totally freaked the fuck out.
Oh yeah, he is like, my son is fucked up. But yeah, on the other side of it, we are seeing kind of the back to the Oedipus thing. We're seeing it kind of all in one. Nate probably wants to fuck his dad, but he also wants to kill his dad. Like
weird.
Nate's mom basically just isn't in the equation. Nate wants to both fuck and kill his parent, which is just Cal. He doesn't really have anything.
That's your thought. I'm not gonna side with you on that, but I think he does want to kill his dad.
I mean, he's on the verge of like make out /
No, he's
banger.
not.
I'm kidding. He's not. There's no sexual tension. Nate wants to fucking kill his dad in the scene.
Well, he's crying too. I mean, it's emotional.
Like, he steps to Cal. He thinks he's the big man. He thinks he can finally step up to his dad, and Cal shows him otherwise, and that does not go down so well.
Not only does it not go down well, we were reading, I always thought that, I think it's true, Jacob Elordi got a concussion doing this, I'm pretty sure. They said that obviously,
it's kind of unclear.
Well, Sam Levinson said that obviously, like, on any set, especially HBO, they have, like, hired nurses. They're very, very safe.
Also, the floor was padded, he said.
But even with padding, though, what he was alluding to is even with padding, you could absolutely get a concussion, and they did not know he was going to rise to the occasion like that. They were just absolutely
he goes
like
ham
shocked
on the scene.
Yeah, I will right now. Jacob Elordi, if you ever listen to this, like, my God, from Kissing Booth to this scene, you have just flourished. This scene is like Oscar worthy. You should be fucking proud of yourself. Like, going from a horrible, no offense, B-grade movie. I know you gotta do what you gotta do to get your shoe in the door. And honestly, like, Kissing Booth, I did like at the time. But like, holy fuck, like, as an actor, so respectable. I'm just proud.
It's hardcore. This is some fucking... it's like some heavy, like, intense
it made me
shit.
feel uncomfortable. I was like, hey, can we, like, wrap this up? I'm, like, literally feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean,
hearing him scream.
Euphoria is a show of a lot of intense shit, but I low-key think this is one of the, if not the most intense scene in the entire show. This is, like, real, like, gnarly shit.
Yeah. Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So then we wanted to talk about Rue and Nate, obviously, their chat outside. Because Maddie and Nate are kind of like dancing together. They get in this little like, well, no, they're not dancing together. They're like battling. Like Maddie's like grabs some guy in the dance floor.
Maddie grabs some guy.
I love that part. She's like, you? And the guy's just like, huh? And then the other guy's like,
she's like, can you dance? Like, and he's like, yeah.
Fuck yeah. That'd be you.
You'd be stupid to not be like, yeah.
Yeah, but like Maddie.
I mean, I guess if you couldn't dance, but like,
yeah, but he can dance. They like get it on.
So they get it on.
Maddie's a good dancer too. She's like pretty hot. So Nate gets pissy. He walks out.
Yeah, he walks out.
And Zendaya. Rue is like,
Rue's out there not feeling so hot about the
No. She follows him.
Oh, that's right.
She sees him and she looks at Jules. She's like, "Be right back," which is so badass because she goes on a mission.
And this is right after we get Rue and Jules like basically like flipping the bird, shooting the guns at Nate on the dance floor to blow the whistle, which is a great scene.
It's pretty ballsy too because Jules was pretty freaked out by Nate. So for her to be so nonchalant and be like flipping him off at prom, it's a baller move.
Like she goes on to say in this conversation, Rue is in this interesting situation where she's probably the only character in this show.
I'm saying Jules has balls.
Oh, I don't think Rue gives a fuck. Thing. Yeah, but Jules she already played her part. She did the cops thing. Like
it's over with.
She knows she's fucked by Nate, so it kind of doesn't matter. He has the nudes and stuff. Like, absolutely, it almost doesn't matter. But
so Rue just like beelines it, follows him. They get outside. Also, Alex and I keep continuing to bring this up, but it's like we literally don't know the history between Rue and Nate, which I hope like kind of. I hope season 2 unfolds a little bit more.
It's one of the interesting plot threads because they drop a couple hints. They say that, like Nate tried to finger Rue and they were like 14 on the dance floor or something sus like that.
They have a lot of history though, but I think we don't know about. I don't know
why. They give each other some looks every once in a while, and at the conclusion of this scene, he like tells her that she looks really beautiful or something, but in his like very manipulative, weird Nate way. But it still has some like undertones of something else going on there. Good for Rue.
That's badass that she's just like...
We're not really sure what, but Rue kind of gives it to Nate in this scene a little bit because she is probably the only character in the show that has the upper hand on Nate, and that she just has nothing. She literally has nothing to lose.
She's like, I already almost died.
She doesn't give a fuck about her life even. So like, it's
that's not funny, but like I know what you mean.
It's open season in terms of like her ability to fuck with Nate because there's really very little he can do. He already fucked with Fez.
I'll put you in the hot seat for 1 second.
There's not much he can do to hurt her.
I want to put you in the hot seat for a second. Do you think I just had this thought? Do you think that when he says she's beautiful, do you think that's just him literally just being a scumbag, that's it? Or do you think there is more, meaning when we keep saying, like, we think there might be a little more in their history, do you think there was ever a point where maybe they had some sort of, like, not normal, but, like, maybe some sort of interaction where he fucked her over kind of like he did to Jules? Because I feel like Rue comes out very strong just hating Nate, like, hating him. It's not even like, oh, he's just this dumb jock that goes to our school, he sucks. She clearly has a lot of, like, personal, like, issues with his family and him. I'm just curious what you think.
I don't know. I don't think there's enough to say yet.
Yeah, true.
There's a lot of...
A part of me just wonders, because when he says that, I told you, like, the one thing I don't like about this scene is Rue goes out there. She makes it a point to, like, be a badass, and, like, she does. But she lets him have the upper hand in a way because he walks away being like, I think you look beautiful tonight. And he's obviously not being serious.
It throws her for a loop. Yeah. She's not expecting that. And that's Nate's specialty is manipulating people by like kind of like catching them off guard.
Totally. But it just sucks because then Rue's kind of silenced in a way and he gets to walk off like smirking and being his usual asshole self.
He does. But at the end of the day, we still know that Rue does have like an advantage over him. He it's like one of those like he won the battle, but this could be a Rue.
He won the verbal battle.
This could be a Rue wins the war situation because...
And she'll throw the salt behind him.
Yeah, she'll throw that salt behind him.
Salt. They won't even be able to build any of Cal's homes. It'll be fucked.
Oh yeah, they won't be able to build a single fucking.
No mac and mash at that house. It'll be dead, gone, burned to the ground.
Yep.
But yeah, true. I don't know. I just wanted to ask you.
The way you fuck up somebody is you through their friends and family if you can't get them directly. But he's already fucked over Jules. And he's already fucked over Fez. So there's nobody really that he has dirt on in Rue's life that he can use to like put any squeeze on her. So
it's true.
She's in a pretty good power position over Nate for season 2. She's set up pretty well.
She really is. Then
maybe she'll kill him. Who knows?
Maybe. Then we have a really like just quick snippet of we get a little bit of closure on Maddie and Nate. As far as we know, they have a slow dance together, and I don't know. I was telling Alex, I think this moment is a little bit like it gave me closure at least. I feel like they kind of needed that because I like when she's like she says something like we're just not good for each other, like which I think is pretty brave of her. Like I will give Maddie a little bit of credit. It's really hard to like come out of an abusive relationship, and I think that was like her way of kind of like ending things, and I'm hoping that will stay that way, meaning I'm hoping Maddie has a wild and out summer and like Nate is just fucking gone, like he's dead to her. I don't think that will be the case, but that's like my highest hopes for her. But I felt like she definitely kind of was like tired. I think that was her way of being like, I'm exhausted. Like this is not even worth the status anymore. Like it's just bad.
They're both pretty raw with each other. And I think to me, it came across like neither of them really cares that much about the other one. I don't think there's much love there. I don't even know if you would call it friendship, but they do kind of have this like camaraderie through like villainy. Like they've both been really shady people and done really shitty people to stuff like together.
They also know each other's deepest, darkest secrets. Like they have a lot invested.
Yeah, exactly. They know a lot about each other. They've done shady shit together. So they have this like this camaraderie in their like in their fucked upness and in their villainy. So but it's not really like a real friendship. It's not romantic.
We also love this part. I have to say it before we forget, is when his other like bitch, I don't remember her name, sorry, but like she's just whatever. The one that was putting her feet up on the dash, like ugh, so fucking gross.
Trashy.
But then she goes to sit down at the table and it's like, oh, like the worst night ever. Like,
I know. She's like, I thought this would be a night I'd remember forever.
You fucking went to the dance with Nate Jacobs. What were you thinking? Yeah. Oh my God.
But the best part is when she's like, I thought this would be a night I'd remember forever, and Lexi's like, I think this is a night you'll remember forever. Like,
which is also something you would say drunk. You are really Alexi when you're drunk.
I'm pretty Alexi.
Straightforward. Yeah. So funny though. I just had to bring up that cute little line. But then after that, we get Rue and Jules. They have this like kind of intense conversation outside, and it leads to a lot of other shit. But
yeah,
Rue pretty much asks her very tenderly, like, "Do you love me?" And Jules says yes. She says, "Do you love Anna?" And she says yes. Which I'm like, what the fuck?
Jules is on some bullshit here.
You love Anna? You met her once. Like, okay, like, even if... I honestly wouldn't have even cared if she had said no to Rue, because they haven't even known each other that long. In my eyes, it's like, you haven't really known each other that long. But then you say you love Anna?
Jules
back the bus bullshit. Up.
Jules is in this, like, thing where she thinks it's, like, adult and like cool and like wild and free spirited to like love like many people, like and like that you can love many people, or that she does love many people.
Which, to be fair, is okay, because when you're in high school you're very experimental. She doesn't really know. You're finding yourself.
It's whack.
You're finding yourself.
Very immature, and it's like, girl, you don't know what it's like to love one person. I don't think she truly loves Rue or Anna or has ever truly loved anybody.
She loves Rue in a
Rue comes a little closer, but I don't think that's even like.
But she compared, you know what was my problem? Which isn't a bad thing, but she compared Rue to family earlier in the episode when they were getting ready. Remember I said it was so fucking offensive that she said, you would love Anna. Like, she's like family. Like, it was different than like my dad or you. It was like another like family member. And it's like, hey, when
that gets hard though.
But when you're relating someone to family, the romance kind of like goes away.
That's tough though, because Jules was obviously talking partially about like the like sexual orientation aspects of it. Like, she feels like she has another family in these people from LA because they're also going through like trans issues and whatnot.
I know. I'm just saying, I was like, ugh, offensive. Don't even include Anna in any kind of like family discussion. But anyways.
But yeah, Jules is on some bullshit here being like, I love you and I also love her, when in reality she's barely knows either of them. Like, she's known Rue for at least a school year, so like she probably knows her decently well.
She does,
but she's known Anna for what? Fucking 2 days. Like, get the fuck out of here. And she barely knows Rue even, so it's like,
she doesn't, because
fuck out of here, Jules.
And we'll talk about this later, but she obviously doesn't know Rue, because if she knew Rue, she wouldn't make the decision she makes later, which we'll talk about.
Yes, but
so, anyways,
she's on some bullshit. With this
Jules.
whole thing.
Not
like,
happy
she thinks
with you.
she's so cool and like modern and like,
which is a bummer. But anyways,
like, the only other thing, like some polyamory shit. Like, get the fuck out of here with this.
The only other thing I will say too is, it's really, really sad when Rue's like, what does she say? She says, do you like,
she's like, is there anything you would change about me?
About
or something,
me. Yes, basically. That's it. Yep.
And Jules lies and says that there's not.
Well, we don't know if she's actually lying, but, she says, do you wish I was different?
Yeah.
Which is so sad, because Rue clearly has shown, especially in the Halloween episode, that she feels like a burden, and that is just something you never want to feel like, especially around people you love.
Right.
And to be honest, once again, I'm more and more finding out I relate to Rue on so many levels, because Alex knows this in our relationship. Like, if anything, when I lost my dad when I was 17, anyone I met after that I grew close to, I always felt like a burden, because I was going through so much. I was like super immature, very incapable of handling my emotions and coping with death. So anyone I met, I honestly like always felt like I was like not good enough to be with someone, because I just felt like shit. So that was like, I literally, like, Alex was there with me. I bawl. I literally sob every time I watch this episode, like, actually, like, full on. Like, I can barely breathe. But, like, that's, like, where the crying starts, is that, like, one moment, because I know what that feels like to, like, love someone or even be friends with someone and, like, have to ask that hard question of, like, do you wish I was, like, not like this? So that's like sad. I'm not an addict, but like it's all similar. Like it's all
and to
emotional.
Jules' credit, she says the right thing. She's like no, and is loving and like sweet, chill with her in that moment.
Yeah. So like, let's go away. Let's run to the city.
She does get some credit there, and it's Rue's idea to like run away. I just don't. Rue obviously just doesn't really like she hasn't thought this out. She hasn't literally thought out. Are we actually going to run away now? Like,
to be fair though, also how many times have you and I been like, let's be spontaneous, let's go, and like they're on a bike ride. It's like super immature. Like in my head, I'm like, I would never like take it so literal. I wouldn't be like Jules, like, okay, hurry, let's go home, pack my bags.
I would.
I know. I just wouldn't.
I'm always the Jules in that situation. I'm like, oh, okay, let's fucking do it. Like, let's go right now.
Once again, I'm like Rue. I would say that out loud, but I wouldn't mean it.
Yeah. And I would be the Jules and be like, yes.
Haven't I done that before? I feel like I've done that before.
Yeah, totally. You always like throw something out there like casually, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's do it. Like,
and
right
I'm
now.
like, no, never mind.
Like, no, and I'm like, what? Come on, like, let's do it. You wanted to do it. Let's do the thing.
So that happens, but then we have to kind of bring up Fezco real quick. He has a crazy fucking thing going on. There's not like much emotional depth here, other than like it's fucking insane. Like
the stakes are high. So
stakes are high.
He
Ashtray gives him the look like, oh fuck.
After getting raided by the cops, Fezco has no drugs anymore to sell, so he has to figure out how to come up with the money to pay Mouse. So he obviously knows about this individual who's a doctor
within the network of like drug dealing.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
It seems like this guy's a supplier for their organization at some level. Mm-hmm. It's hard to know whether this is a good decision or not without knowing exactly like who this guy is and how he relates to like the criminal organization. Because if he's their supplier and then Fez robbed him and then puts the money back into the system, everyone's gonna know, which seems like a really bad idea. But if he's the supplier for like a rival gang or something, it's a great idea. So we don't really know how good of a decision this was.
But we will know in season 2, because I told you I read an interview, another one with Sam Levinson. He said that in season 2 he absolutely has every intention of telling Fezco's storyline.
Yeah.
So I hope we could learn more.
But yeah, man, Fez really ponies up. He gets on his gangsta shit and he goes and he sneaks into this doctor's house. He goes, makes him open up his crazy safe table.
The movie playing.
So the doctor's watching a movie. He's got a projector on with some movie on, and I tried so fucking hard to find out what movie this is, and I could not find out. They only show like a couple seconds of the film, and it's not really listed short in the credits, and I looked all over online. So if you happen to like for some reason know what movie this is,
DMS,
please tell me. But yeah, I don't know.
Alex was dying. He really did do the work. He put in the Lord's work to try and find this video out for you guys, but like it was really tough.
I don't even think anyone cares, but I care. And
no, they do. I was just actually gonna say, it's so funny you said that, because I actually think people really appreciate the details, and I think it's really fun to know this, especially because you always bring up the point that Euphoria is very intentional, and it's really cool that they actually pick things that like align with the story and the theme.
Yep.
So yeah, I even would want to know. I don't know.
But yeah, I had no luck. So if you know what that is, hit me up.
But yeah, the coffee table safe with all the like drugs and shit.
That's a sweet safe. That's a really cool safe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Dr. Boy tries to make a move for a gun. Fez has to beat the shit out of him.
It also sucks that Fez has to see his kid watch, because Fez is such a good-hearted guy that they did that on purpose, because he's like, fuck, now what do I do?
Him. Yep. You know that's
why he didn't kill him either.
Also, yeah, we have to mention, last episode we were wrong. We thought that Fez killed this doctor.
I don't know why I thought that. I've seen the show a million times.
I thought that too, to be fair. But he doesn't. He doesn't kill the doctor. He just beats the shit out of him.
Which actually also, in season 2, I'm sure we'll find out, but that's really stupid. Because now you haven't killed him. Now he's just alive to tell the tale.
He had a mask on though, right?
True, but I mean, those guys find out.
It's almost worse if you kill him, though, because then you have the heat of the police investigation. True. If you don't kill him, he's never going to involve the cops, because he's a shady drug dude. So he's not going to... The cops aren't involved now. If you kill him, the cops are involved, and that's bad.
Totally. I just think they intentionally put that little child there to make Fezco have, like, a moral moment.
Of course they did. Because we all know Fez has, like, a pretty strong moral compass. He doesn't want to do this. He sees this as, like, the last-ditch effort to, like... fucking save him and Ashtray from some real fucked up shit. Like it's like balls to the wall. You got to do what you got to do.
His grandma and shit.
He doesn't want to like. There's no way he wants to do this. Obviously.
No.
So and then he's obviously feeling the full consequences of it from this little son having to watch his dad get beat up. But also, that guy's asking for it. Like if you're in the drug business,
Yeah,
it brings risk with it, and if you have a kid, you gotta know that, like...
That's a risk.
These are the risks. You could end up dead one day, and your kid could be an orphan, like, so...
fucked up. It's fucked up world, the drug dealers.
Don't go into that business if you're not cool with that.
Yeah, you gotta be better. So then we have the epic train station moment. Now, this is a really, really tough scene for me and many people watching this. Mainly because we all have just been rooting so hard for Rue, and she really has come so far in her soberness and just growing as a person. So while Jules is kind of taking a fucking backseat, if you will, and is being all immature and like is kind of like going into like self-discovery, if you will, Rue's kind of like, I'm not saying she's doing well. She's definitely like having a hard time, but also she's come a long way. So it's really hard to see her just fall apart in this scene, at least for me. It's so emotional for me because it's like she just loves Jules so much. And for Jules in that moment to not understand the like seriousness of like, I can't just fucking get on a train and leave. Like, my sister watched me OD. Like, that's so traumatic. My mom is like, been such a sport, like, let me go to prom with you, like, has let me go to sleepovers, like, has given me this freedom. I can't like abuse that. It's just not an option. I love my family too much, which to me is so sincere. And honestly, Jules should be like, if anything, like turned on by that. Like, I feel like if I was in love with someone that was an addict and they had this like vulnerable moment of being like, I just can't do this right now, like I have to like make sure my family's okay.
Yeah.
Anyone with like a fucking brain would be like, you know what? Oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, let's just take a breather. Maybe we'll go tomorrow. Like, but no, Jules is too, she's got her mindset.
Yeah.
You were saying she wants to, I liked what you said and I want to make sure you remember it. I liked what you said, how she's trying to like form Rue into who she wants Rue to be.
Yeah, I think to a certain degree she kind of wants Rue to be more of like an Anna now that she's like seen someone like this. I think she is in love with Rue to a certain extent, like, but she wants Rue to take on these qualities. She wants to see like a
wild child,
a more adventurous Rue, a more like reckless, spontaneous Rue. And while Rue's story arc is getting more mature, more responsible, Jules' story arc is kind of getting more immature. Like, Jules starts out the series being probably the more mature party. She's shown like doing very little, like,
well, she's supportive. Remember, she's the one that tells Rue like, yo, I'm not going to be friends with you if you're doing this shit. Right. And then toward the end she like wants her to be like wild, and it's like,
right. Jules' character arc is in the downshift. She gets like progressively more immature. She gets more into like drinking. She's making like probably what are worse choices, more questionable moral choices with the whole like Nate thing and the cops.
And to be fair, the Nate thing did really fuck her up, and it would fuck anyone up. So I'm not like blaming it, but I'm saying like we do like forgive her of certain things because you're like, she is young and she is going through some really traumatic shit. Like, right. But it doesn't like...
I mean, she's still a kid, and it's okay that she is this level of immature because it's what's to be expected, but it's a bummer in relation to the maturity level she starts out at. She starts out a little above where you would expect her to be and kind of comes down to the median of what you would expect of someone her age, which is kind of shitty and selfish. And everybody at that age is kind of like that. But it's a bummer to see someone that, for the first half of the show, is a little more elevated, kind of like come down to that.
So then we literally just go into this beautiful like ending here. And I know a lot of people have different opinions about this. I do think, I will say, most super fans, especially our listeners, I know the majority, it's very rare that like a big fan of Euphoria like doesn't like the finale. Like, it's actually like known as like the best. But there are a lot of like articles out there that think it was like a little silly, like didn't make sense. And you know what? To that, I will say what I say a lot to you about film and artsy, weird, kind of more like obscure shit. I feel like if you don't like something just because it's different and odd and you don't feel comfortable with it, I don't think that means it's bad. I think everyone was hoping for this like normal TV ending of like Rue and Jules running off in the city together and that being the end. But like all the articles I was reading, their complaints about it just like weren't valid. It wasn't like, oh, the music saying didn't make sense. Yeah, I'll show you later. I didn't really get to talk to you about it, but like the Hollywood Reporter,
a bunch of stuff
Vanity
that
Fair
had pretty good things to say about it.
Oh, see, I was reading stuff where they were like, it was kind of sloppy, it felt like jarring, it was very like random, like all of a sudden she's singing, which is funny because normally, yes, like I told you this when we were watching it, if it were anyone but Zendaya doing that scene at the very end, like I really think I'd be like, this is kind of weird, but she and Labyrinth working together and making that such an emotional piece really, I think, really like worked. And I guess even though I love musicals, you know me, I love cheesy shit. I do think if it had been anyone else, I would have been like, this is kind of like fucking weird. But I loved it, like, which is weird for me. I don't know if I would like love this if it was someone else or if it was like a different song. I don't know how to explain it, but it was really like powerful for me. The first time I watched it, it floored me. I was like sobbing, like I was just like, what the fuck did I just watch? Like I just watched Rue. Mm-hmm. I told you I thought she died. So me watching like the scene of her, like, which I read to you earlier, Sam like definitely wrote this very carefully and had a lot of thought behind it. And she's like she walks in, they carry her dad out on a stretcher, which like for me, I just fucking lose it every time I see that. I can relate to that 100%, losing my dad at a young age. Like I've literally seen the same scene, seen my dad being carried out, same thing. So for me, I'm not laughing, but like that's super triggering. So I'm always like sobbing at this part. But then like she grabs her dad's sweater or hoodie or whatever, and it's so symbolic because it's like her, I guess how I read it to you earlier, Sam Levinson was saying it's kind of like her like dealing with loss. It's literally like her like putting on the burden of like her dad's loss, and then like
it's a very like plain symbolism when we find out that she puts on the hoodie, that it's like it
all goes down from here.
Well, you realize that she's carrying the burden of like this grief and his death and his memory with her throughout the whole show when you see her,
but you don't really know the whole show
because she is literally carrying it with her throughout the show. She's symbolic. Wearing his hoodie. But yeah, I mean, the end is, I think it totally works. It definitely works for me. I didn't even think it was that weird. I wasn't that surprised.
Which I think is funny, though. I will say, I thought you were going to hate it because you don't like musicals.
No, I think it works. Not a musical,
but she's singing and it's very theatrical, and you usually do not like that.
Yeah, I totally...
Why do you like it?
I have mixed
I'm going to put you in the hot seat. Why do you like it, though? Or why are you, like, okay with it?
Because it works. It's well executed.
Any show you would be like, this is so fucking stupid. I know you.
No, it works, and it's well executed. And I have some problems with the ending. But one of them is not the execution. I think it's great. Like, it's beautiful. You see, like, you get, like, a quick primer of, like, Rue's life, basically. Like, you see Rue's mother at her absolute worst. Like, hitting Rue, kicking her out. Gia's like, what the fuck? And the mom's like, you can go after her. Like, I don't care. And Gia's straight up to her mom is like, are you proud? Like, proud of yourself? Like, so you really see, like...
You see the dysfunction of the family in this
way. And you see Rue's mom at her absolute worst. You see what Rue's addiction has, like, done to her family. You see what the father's death has, like, the effects that it's carried out to all these people.
It's highly emotional.
Yeah, so I mean, it's set to this music and stuff. So I think it's a beautifully done scene. I think it's really well acted. I think it's well executed. The music, the montage, like it totally works. And then they have this whole sequence at the end,
which is super cool. Very well planned out. They had like choreographers, a full band. I mean, they went all out, like robes. It's very like almost like religious, but like very haunting. And like he said, it's, I guess you can talk about your qualms in a minute, but I'll first outline what Sam really thought, because I didn't know this until I read it today. But his intentions for writing this end scene, and he said he actually didn't really write it until they got to that episode. Like, he's one of those people that kind of like writes as he goes. Like, it's very therapeutic and like makes sense for him. But he was relating it directly to his personal experience of what in his head addiction is like. Meaning, like, it's literally like highs, lows, fears, extreme joy, extreme like absolute depression. You can rise up, you fall. So like her choreography, like climbing up over like people, it's like it's all very symbolic. Where when I first watched it, I literally thought, this is Rue dying. She's kissing her father goodbye. She's like, I don't know. I literally thought this was her dying. I didn't know it was her relapsing.
Hearing Sam Levinson describe the scene, he intended this symbolism to be about relapse and addiction and the bodies of like the dead that have fallen to this stuff, and her climbing and then falling back into the relapse. All the dancers outside are wearing robes that are the same color as her father's hoodie. Like,
well, he also said he didn't want you to think addiction's just black and white. It's not like you relapse, then you're done. It's like you could like relapse.
Right. It's like it's not over.
Done.
Like,
yeah.
But to me and to many other viewers, including you, I think the scene read as Rue's dead.
I thought she was dead.
And so it's a little bit. I think my qualms with the ending come. I think it was executed perfectly. I was just frustrated to find out that Rue is not dead. Basically, I mean, I love Rue.
Yeah, you like don't actually want her dead, but you're like, it would make sense that
but
she
it's
was
like,
from the story being
that was
told.
to me that could not have been more obvious that Rue is dead. So it's like, how could you have looked at this scene as the creator or the producers or whatever and read this as Rue is anything other than dead? I mean, they show her. Go up
which is funny because Sam Levinson was so blind to it, which is kind of cute almost, because it obviously made Euphoria even that much more enticing, because you're like, I have to see season 2, I have to know what's happening with Rue, where he had literally zero intent of like that being a cliffhanger. It was more of a like, oh, like this is just like artful and
right. And when you're an artist, you're very close to your art and it's hard to step outside it and see how other people will perceive it. But to me it was like, when she goes up to her mom and her sister and hugs them and they're not reacting, like as if she's not there, and then her dad is there and she hugs her dad and he hugs her back, it's like, well, yeah, he's dead, and if he's hugging her back, so is she.
Totally. Like she hugs Gia from behind and Gia literally doesn't even feel her, but then she hugs her dad and her dad kisses her on the forehead.
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, no, I'm 100% with you.
Looking a little deeper into it, some people were saying that the lyrics that are happening at that moment say there's a male voice being like, not yet, or something along those lines, as her dad's kissing her. So a lot of people were reading out like he's like, a lot of people have read the ending as she is going to die of an overdose, but not yet. Like she's heading there, but really this sad. Is not the time. Yeah. So we'll see how this all plays out.
Also, if she did relapse, you could have a weird moment of like almost death. I mean, I know that's really blowing it out of proportion, but yeah, she could have had like a literal near death, like when you're in that moment. She could have really thought she saw her dad, whatever you want to think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I absolutely, the first time I will literally never forget the first time I watched this finale, because I was so moved. I mean, it's really what made me like love the show, because I didn't really know what to expect. I was like, how are they going to wrap all of these storylines? Because there was a lot going on. And that is one thing I will praise Euphoria forever and ever about, is I do think that they really did a good job of like kind of wrapping up everyone, but not enough where like you want to watch season 2. You want to know what's going on, but it's not like I didn't walk away frustrated personally, other than finding out she didn't die, because I was like, damn it, like I thought I had it, I thought I knew, like I thought I understood it, and now you're telling me she didn't die. That was the only part I like got frustrated.
It's only frustrating to me because if it's ambiguous or if she's supposed to be alive or whatever, I would have liked it to read more that way, because then it's like you think she's dead, and then you essentially are finding out she's not dead by him just being like, she's not dead. Like, I feel like the product and the story and the creation should be a little more clear about what it's doing if it's supposed to be obvious. If it was ambiguous, I mean, that ending could be pretty ambiguous, and maybe you don't find out if she's alive or dead till season 2 if nobody says anything. But if everyone's coming out and saying she's not dead, it's kind of frustrating, because you're like, well, it's not really clear. So I'd like the art to like speak for itself. And if she's not dead, I'd like to find out in season 2 instead of having somebody tell me she's not dead.
I agree. Like, so in other words, you would have been happy if Sam would have just been like, I don't know.
Yeah, that, because it could be read very ambiguously. So I would have preferred if they had just left it open-ended until season 2.
Do you think HBO had anything to do with that? You know how some shows, they have like certain requirements? Like they might have been like, you can't say that because then no one will like... You might upset like the demographic, the people that watch the show.
Because everyone would still know that Zendaya was going to be in season 2, and
of course, she was already signed on. I mean,
so it wouldn't take away from the fandom. If she was in season 2 as a ghost or a narrator or a voice or whatever, everyone's still gonna watch it. No one's gonna stop watching it because Zendaya's like dead in the show as long as she's still in it.
All I can say is I wish y'all could have seen how fucking fast I scrambled after that finale when I first watched it. I was like going to every Twitter, every interview I could fucking find, because I was like, I need to know right now if Rue's actually dead. Mm-hmm. And like you said, to your point, I found out right away, because I literally typed in like, I want to know comes out what and the says director says.
There's an interview where Sam Levinson just straight up says she's not dead. So it's a little frustrating. I wish he would have at least leaned into the ambiguity and been like, people are reading this as ambiguous, so maybe I could like at least play it off until season 2. But he just came out and was like, no, she's not dead.
See, you're funny like that.
I'm you sure as hell made it look like she's dead.
True, but I'm relieved. I'm opposite of you. I'm like, thank God Sam Levinson told us, because I was flipping out. I was sobbing. I thought Rue was gone. I mean, for me, like I said, and I really mean this, I'm very like tied to Rue personally. Her character is the one I resonated with the most. So when she died, I literally felt like I fucking died. I was like in my bed, like sweating, fucking crying my eyes out. Meatball was like scared of me because I looked so terrifying. So for me, it was like highly emotional. So when he relieved me of that, I was like, thank fucking God.
But yeah, I mean, either way, she's not in great shape for season 2.
Absolutely not.
I can't believe Jules left her. You know?
You're just going back to that? Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I'm still like floored. Like, they're at the train station and Jules finds out she wants to stay with her fam. And Jules is like, okay, bye. Like, and just leaves her. You could have just stayed with her.
But also, but let's be honest. You and I always say this. What a fucking boring ending that would be. That's like when someone in a horror movie walks into a room and all the lights are off and you're like, what the fuck are you doing?
And then you just leave.
Stop.
I know. You're right.
It's like they gotta make it TV worthy.
I know. On that point, we also have a correction from last week that I just remembered.
What?
Last week we were talking about Rue's medication, and we were like, I don't think Rue's been on medication.
And our great loyal follower,
yes.
Mira Romero. I think I'm saying it wrong, but it's close.
A follower corrected us.
Our follower is so sweet. Like, gives us all the deets.
Yeah.
DM'd us and said, just so you know, Rue does mention she's off Earth.
Right. And during the train scene, we see that
she's off
we
her
were
meds.
like, oh, yeah, she's right. Because during the train scene, Rue's like, I need my medication. Which I thought was interesting because it kind of explains why Rue is both like has the bipolar stuff and the OCD, but we never really see her having symptoms of that for most of the show.
Yeah, I know.
So it does make a little bit more sense now that we're
clear.
like, yeah, she has been on medication.
And also, you know what? Fuck Jules in that moment too, because she was like, we could just find it at a pharmacy. No, you can't.
I know, right? You can't.
No, you can't. You have to have you have to go through a process. Trust me.
Yeah, you gotta have the fucking paperwork.
I would know. Like, I've taken medication. Trust me.
You
don't get to just show up at Walgreens and go, yo, guess what? I'm bipolar and I've got OCD. Hook me up. Hook a girl up.
Right.
It's not how it works.
Yep.
But you know what? Holy shit. Like I said, I do want to end on like a very like emotional note that this finale is just, I think, incredible. I absolutely love everything about it. I also think it's really, really dope that like Sam Levinson pulled all this from his personal experience. I think that makes it even more like special because it's like, damn, like if that's really how he felt and was going through shit, like I can't even imagine. Mm-hmm. Like I told you, I was like, the part where her mom's reading that letter and even just seeing the last scene and it all kind of comes together, I just can't even imagine. Like my heart just goes out to so many people that are addicts because it's so fucking like, it's fucking rough. Like it's just a journey that you have to go through your entire life, and it's not like, it's no one's fault. It's just you're either born with it or you're not.
Yep.
Like you were joking that like you've tried drugs. I have. We're so fucking lucky, and I'm so grateful that that's not in my genes. But like, holy fuck, like I lost my dad at 17. Can you imagine if I had an addictive personality? Can you even imagine? Like, I'd be a fucking shit show. I would be rude, probably worse. So I just feel so grateful that like I don't have to go through that. I can't imagine. So like it's pretty dope that like to see him now like clearly sober and like thriving. Like what a cool story.
Get it.
So dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
The finale, like amazing, amazing, amazing stuff. So I mean, it would not be our show if we didn't just go right into superlatives.
Let's hit those superlatives. The old, this week they're going to be a little lightly prom themed.
Yeah, lightly.
Yeah.
So we've got, what do we got first? Best dress.
What are you thinking? Best dress, Paige?
Maddie. I already said it earlier. I think Maddie's dress is so unique. It's so her. It's like pure rhinestone. It's over the top. It's sexy. I just think it like could not be more Maddie, and they did a great job. I love it.
Yep. Weirdly, like, no one really blows me away in this episode, but I think Cassie looks very, like, mature, very nice. Like, she could walk the red carpet in that look. She doesn't belong in high school looking like that. Like, she is outpacing everyone.
She's also
very, like put together.
Don't you feel like if you were her date, you'd just be like, you'd be swooning because you'd be like, this is so dope that I have a date that's like barely really put any effort in and looks like a goddess.
Yeah, she looks fucking classy as shit. So yeah,
great. We're stressed. I literally like, I feel bad even saying this because you know what? Our listeners are gonna be pissed. But like,
I know.
Sorry, but Jules.
Same. The second I saw her prom look, I just made a note. I was like, "Ooh, it is not working. Like, it doesn't work for me at all. The skunk hair really throws it off."
We already went into it, but all I'll say is I do love the trench coat. Like, I would wear that.
Yeah, I love that.
No, I wouldn't because I'm not like the right person to represent the political background of it. But I absolutely like. I love the material.
Whatever.
I love the glitter.
Anyone can be pro trans rights. Like,
that's true, but you know what I mean though. Like, I think it's more fitting that it makes sense she's wearing that. It's amazing. What a great statement, but like what a bummer that to pair with that she looks like a skunk.
Yeah, the rest of it didn't come together. It could have been a stronger look if all the other details had been more in line, but
like I said, the hair and the makeup is the only thing that threw me off. I really don't even think the outfit was that bad. I just think you're so distracted by the bad do and makeup that I'm like,
yeah, not a fan.
Just didn't really fit.
It's a bummer.
So then we have our prom king or queen option.
Yeah.
And I think we both chose Lexi.
I choose Lexi, straight
prom
up.
Queen!
I love it.
Lexi!
Like, Lexi is so beyond her years in her assessment of high school.
And she's younger.
Yeah.
Younger than all, but wiser than all.
Great for her for just being, like, so ahead of the game in terms of being, like, high school's bullshit. Like, none of this matters, and just having that kind of like presence of mind and maturity and awareness.
And she's cute.
It really is.
And
bullshit.
she hollers when Kat and Ethan
drunk.
are making out, and she's drunk, and she's like, woo, woo, woo. And she's like, she's a good friend.
Yeah, and she gets drunk and has fun. So
Lexi's never had a bad friend moment in this whole season. Let's just make that known. She's been so loyal. She's never been a bad friend to anybody.
Yeah, I mean, over the course of the season, Lexi goes from being like a small background character to being like a super strong, like, interesting character in her own right, especially in these last 2 episodes. So
absolutely,
last 3, good for her.
Then we've got big prom dirty rat bastard.
Yes.
And you know what? Once again, I'm like cringing saying this because usually we pick Nate.
Usually we pick stinky old Nate, but he doesn't really do much in this episode, and man,
he's not a good person. Let's just make that clear.
No,
like, he's still
trash,
a shitty character.
as always.
But like, he didn't do anything outrageous in this episode, so we picked Jules because she fucking left Rue at the train station.
Yeah, she's being real immature with her like whole Anna thing, and then to leave Rue at the end.
The Anna thing's whatever, but I think if you're a real bastard, you leave your best friend at a train station when she says, "I'm going through some post-traumatic stress.
I need to like be good to my mom and my sister." Yeah.
There'll be another train tomorrow. We can go. So like, sorry, bastard move.
Yeah, that was super uncalled for, and she's kind of just like on and off this episode, but she's displaying a lot of qualities that are not her best side.
No.
Jules is on the downward spiral right now, and it's a bummer, but she's being kind of shady to Rue.
It's awful. Then we've got the prom jester.
Jester.
We chose Lexi again.
Oh yeah, Lexi again.
She's funny.
She's funny. She's
a
all
great drunk. I was just thinking too, another funny part for her was when she was like with Cassie, and she's like, "How do you like hook up with people?"
Yeah.
And Cassie's like, "I don't know. I just fucking like walk up and like figure it out." And she's like, "Oh." She's just funny. She's very like, oh, like she's just wasted. It's great.
Yeah, I love Lexi. I didn't think I would, but I do.
I know. And it's
I didn't remember caring about her character at all in my previous rewatches, and on this one I was like, okay, I get why she's like such a fan favorite. She's great.
She's a fan favorite, but also she's Sam Levinson's favorite because she was in Assassination Nation before this, and the interview I read to you today out loud, just kind of about the finale, he literally says, like, I understand why people want to know Lexi's backstory. Like, Maud was she was already written in for that part. Like, I don't even think... She may have had to audition, do like, you know, the usual.
The formality.
The formalities, if you will. But like, she absolutely, like, he was like, she's genius. I love her just as an actress. Like, this was her part. Like, I wanted this for her. I couldn't envision anybody else. Which I thought was kind of cute because, like you said, Lexi's kind of this like secondary character. But like to Sam, it was like, no, it's very important that she's Lexi.
There's also, like, there's no way, it's obvious. There's plans for her in season 2. Yes. Same with Fezco. Like, it's been stated, but I think you can tell in the story as well that these are characters who are going to get their due.
They're going to get their time.
They weren't, like, egregiously neglected where it's like, what the fuck, why didn't they get episodes? Like, they're gonna get episodes.
Fans need to calm down.
Their stories are developing. Like, we're gonna see more. We only had 8 episodes. Like, we're gonna get it.
We're not at a place yet either. Like, there hasn't been enough to lead up to, like, I need to know Lexi's backstory. Like,
right.
It's like, calm down. Calm down, fans.
It'll happen.
And then our favorite music. For me, I mean...
Song of the week.
It's All For Us by Labyrinth. And I'll tell you why. I mean, it's not just because, like, I love the end scene. I mean, that, for me, is super powerful. But it's one of those songs that, like, I know you'll, like, laugh and make fun of me. And I can see you just rolling your eyes without even looking at you, Alex. But, like, after I watched Euphoria for the first time, this was the song I listened to the most. Walking, like, to work, like... Because I was so attached, meaning, like, I don't even really know, I'll be honest, I don't even really know if I love the song. It's very, like, nostalgic for me. It's, like, one of those songs that will just always be, like, a part of my life. It sounds so fucking stupid even hearing me say it. But I don't give a fuck. Like, it is. Does. It's very, just, like, therapeutic for me to listen to. It's so powerful. However... It's not a song I can just listen to and be like, like for me, It's like very emotional. It's like listening to like you and I have our songs that are very emotional. Where we love them, but like you cherish them, you put them away in a treasure box. You don't just like play them on a nonchalant walk. Like, it's too much. Like I'll start to cry every time I listen to it. I'll start to cry.
I have super mixed feelings on Labyrinth's score for Euphoria. I think the song at the end here, I'm like, this is at its best. Like, I think his score is working at its best during scenes like that. I mean, it's an epic scene with the whole choir.
But you also read, right? You understand I read it to you, but I don't know if you remember that like that was already a song on his album. Did you know that?
No.
So this song was not written for Euphoria.
I mean, this is bad, but I don't ever pay attention to lyrics, so the lyrics don't change. That doesn't change anything for me, but that is interesting.
But all I'm saying is, I'm letting you know in case any of our followers don't know, you never know. Sam picked Labyrinth based on this song. He loved this song.
Interesting.
He had a lot of things, like, he's an artist, so he had a lot of, like, ideas of what he wanted this to be very early on. Like, Zendaya was always his choice. It was, like, a no-brainer. Like, he didn't even want to have auditions for it. It was like, I want Zendaya to play this part.
Yep.
Which is kind of bizarre. But anyways... Not because she's bad, but like she'd only done Disney before this, so it's like, what role was he watching other than like Spider-Man, where he was like, wow, I'm blown away.
Yeah, interesting.
Do you know what I mean? Like she's an amazing actress.
Where did he see the depth, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Like the emotional level.
I mean, it's there, but where did he see it?
Oh, and she like killed it. But yeah, it's almost like he kind of took a risk, not really knowing if she could reach those levels.
Right.
But anyways, that being said, he listened to Labyrinth's album, loved that song, and like literally envisioned it, not for the finale, but just to be in the show. And they weren't even planning to have Zendaya, and then Labyrinth and him collaborated a bit, and they were like, this just like speaks to us. It fits so well for like that montage scene, which it did. And I know you don't listen to lyrics, but you should next time, because it's crazy how much they like parallel to the story, which is why I had no idea. I didn't even really know much about Labyrinth before this.
Yeah, I mean, I did for that segment because I was particularly interested in that segment and whether we were supposed to read it as dead or not. So I was like paying attention during that. But typically, I don't fucking pay attention.
But Zendaya, obviously, she has a singing career a bit before this. I mean, it was Disney, sure, but like she can sing. She has pipes. She's a good singer. So they were kind of like, would you want to sing this? And she was like, fuck yeah. So
of course you would.
I don't know. I think it's really dope, but you can go...
But yeah, mixed opinions on his score overall, and one thing I found myself thinking many times during the show, I found myself thinking, I wonder what this would be like scored differently, and there are times I'm like, I definitely would get more impact from this scene if it was scored differently. Like, for example, in this episode, Cassie's ice skating scene, I think... me personally, I could have gotten so much more out of that scene with different music. Sometimes it's very like gospel-y, and it's kind of like,
I like it though,
faux epic. Like it feels like it's supposed to be like so dramatic and so epic and evocative, Alex. And it doesn't really hit home for me. And other times I'm like, I could use way more synth. Sometimes they're shooting these scenes that are like pure synth, and you don't get any of that.
Can I say something? Not to like cut you off or interject, but I really think you should save a lot of this commentary for an episode where we really dive into the music. Because I feel like, I like it, but I'm like, I'm like getting nervous because I'm like, I could literally go on and on and argue with you and debate.
Say
also, wait,
no more.
But also, our fans, a lot of them wrote in asking for an episode just on the music. So I kind of want to save it.
Say no more. My song of the week is Blow the Whistle by Too Short.
It's so
no
good.
Explanation needed.
Yeah.
No explanation needed.
It's just it's a fucking great song.
It's a great fucking song.
So on that note of us talking about the music and shit, we obviously are not done with episodes. We're not, just cutting it here because season 1's over. We are very serious about continuing. We already have ideas. We already know what we're going to do for next week, which is we took your feedback into consideration, and we would love to do a season 2 predictions, theories, just anything and everything about season 2. What the fuck do we think is going to happen?
Yeah, so write in. Hit us on Twitter. Hit us on Instagram. Tell us your predictions for season 2. And then next week we'll talk about your guys' predictions, and we'll give you some of our own. We'll talk theories. We'll see what we think is going to happen, and we'll just bullshit about fucking season 2.
And we'll shout you out. So literally, if you write in, be expected to be shouted out. We really are going to take this seriously. So please, write in your very serious predictions, because we'll either shit on it or we'll be this is awesome.
Yeah.
No matter what, though, we're just here to have fun, and we just think it'd be such a fun thing to do. So please participate. I'll definitely be putting it in our Insta stories often. Let us know what you think.
Yep. And I just want to take a moment, because I know I'm the less serious one on this end of things, but I did want to take a moment to just say how much the support and the listens and the feedback have meant to us. This was just a random project, and we didn't expect anyone to listen, so it's been really touching.
Passion
that
project.
We've gotten any comments, any listens, everything we've heard from all of you has been really, it's been touching, and I feel incredibly lucky that you guys have given us even a minute of your time. So we really do appreciate it, and we're gonna be out here and keep trying to bring some fucking entertaining content to you guys, because it means a lot to us.
It really means so much. And on that same note, which is so cute, because Alex is a pretty emotional dude, by the way. You might not know it from the podcast, but why do you think I date him for fucking 10 years? But for real, I will second that. I think it's just bizarre. I mean, we did this out of passion, and we joked about it, but quarantine really did bring us together and really made us focus on what we wanted to try out. And we did this kind of fearful, honestly, thinking fuck, this is so awkward. What if only 10 of our friends listen? And it's crazy. We've got over 1,000 listens now.
People all over the world.
People all over the world. It's Kuwait, India. I mean, you name it.
It's hard to even process. It's so cool.
It's just insane. And like Alex said, I just want to second, you don't know how much it means to us when you message in, even if it's just something as cute as telling us what you're doing for the day, or literally helping us. My God, half of our episodes have been you all messaging us on details we missed, or fuck ups of being nah, this didn't happen. We are here for it. So please continue that. We are not going away. We are here. We're going to keep it euphoric. And we're just excited for the future. We honestly have so many ideas that it's overwhelming. So like I said, we are going nowhere. We've got some great things planned ahead. But that being said, Alex and I both, just at the bottom of our hearts, want to express the gratitude for all of you sharing our page, following us, subscribing, reviewing us, you name it.
All the things.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you know what? I think in our normal nature, we have to do a little sentimental last cheers to our recaps. What an amazing round.
Truly.
That's so euphoric. Woo, that sounded good. We'll see you next week, Euphorians. We love you.